genuinely thought that I was waiting here forever, and I seemed to lose myself in like reading a few articles, and then I saw your Skype message go like, blah, and I went like,
yeah. It turns out everything takes 9 times longer when the child's involved. She's like, I just need you to look at me for a while. It's like, why? Why have you pooed yourself again?
Oh Christ.
Yeah, but she's clean and she's with Mummy in the craft room now, so we've got a couple of hours spare.
That's good. Craft room as in the place where you craft things, not a place where you keep lots of spreadable cheeses.
I prefer that.
I know you would. As soon as I was mentioning it, you were like, I can see a recrafting.
Ooh.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We don't get to talk anymore.
We don't. No, I'm real good. Again, seriously, man, just even finding time. Like, I had so many plans for this Game of the Year show this year, and like, even finding time to write the song, let alone put it together, just didn't happen.
Yeah, we're super proud of last year, and not to down on this because it's nice to have a chat. We're going to be delving into our Scattergories this time, and then our favourite games of the year will be on the next episode. So yeah, things have gone a bit bonkers for both of us. Plus, Christmas at retail is just.
Oh, I love Christmas at retail. It's my favourite time of year because everyone's so nice, aren't they?
Oh man, we always have that thing whereby. The twinkly lights and the lovely decorations of Christmas do draw in the Tories who really fancy some of that lovely Christmas coffee and all the tastes and the flavours of the new food, but are devastated at having to go through somebody on minimum wage to get to it. Devastated. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, and through it again, so that's fine. And on a personal level, it's not a great time for me. But that was kind of alleviated somewhat this year by your announcement.
I know, right?
And, yeah, my announcement, I guess, as well, earlier on in the month.
Yeah, it's been a big year.
Yeah, it's been a good one. I think it feels like a turnaround, and I like that. And I don't know, it's never really been more encapsulated for me by obviously I got into K-pop, and BTS are releasing a new album on February 21st, I think, and they're doing like these lead-in teasers. They've done 2 singles 2 weeks apart, and the one that they've done now, they've funded 22 art projects across the world, which is amazing anyway. But they put out a video a couple of days ago called Black Swan. And it's an orchestral song with them sort of singing over the top of it. But it's this interpretive dance group that have done a piece of art around it. And just watching people on the internet try and figure it out. And everybody's wrong and everybody's right. That's the beauty of art. And you read the lyrics, and the lyrics are just phenomenal. It's about being dragged down by your shadows, but kind of they're the thing that propels you forward and often uplift you and stuff, and you become like deeply personal to me the more that I've kind of looked into it. So yeah. Also,
yeah.
I've mentioned before, like retail's dying for music, and yet the K-pop section in HMV is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the albums, which are 2 or 3 times the price of a regular CD, are these boxes full of photo books and lyrics and deep dives into meanings and art cards, and like they make it special. Also, extra CDs with songs that won't be available digitally.
Okay.
So if you're a fan, chances are you're buying it. And in HMV at the minute they've got, because the BTS album is going to have 4 variants, and you can get all 4 at a reduced price of £100. And I've seen people putting orders in, and the pre-orders for that album, which is bizarre in the modern day, with 5 weeks to go until it releases, nearly 3.5 million pre-orders.
That's quite mental.
Yeah, and it's great. But it also seems to be a band that are in a certain part of their career, but rather than rehashing former glories or celebrating their success, they're exploring like the genuine dichotomy between the darkness and the people that would seek to do the mill, or the shadows that bring them down, anxiety, depression, that sort of stuff, but of wanting to walk into the light, of loving this, of this is the reason that they do it, and they're exploring that, and it's tremendously interesting for me. And funding all these art projects across the world is amazing, and this piece of interpretive dance I saw was just phenomenal. So yeah, it's a bit of a veer off the beaten track, but it's
going to say we've not started particularly on topic, but yeah.
What this is on topic because it's about for me, like, coming from a period of uncertainty and not knowing who I am, and coming in through the other side of it a better person, and making art, and feeling more centered than I ever had. Like, having this funnel to express a side of me which is really sort of not been there for a long time. So yeah, that's there for me. And obviously you're at a point where you got this sort of glittering little Pokemon creature.
A Pikachu of distraction.
Yeah. For all of our gaming audience, a child is like a Pokemon.
Yeah, you catch
that
it.
Shits itself.
You go out and you catch it, and sometimes you can make them fight. You're not supposed to. They don't kill each other. They just knock each other out. It's fine. Hey,
have you seen that game Temtem that's coming out?
Heard of it?
Apparently, it's where Pokemon should be, because a lot of people have been very disappointed by the new version. And Temtem is created by these sort of Spanish developers, and it looks like it's going to be like a really ambitious Pokemon, like everybody's in the world, like along with you.
Okay.
And they've put up a Kickstarter, and they wanted $70,000 to put it out. And I think the last time I looked, they were about $600,000. And they've actually, with the Kickstarter, they've released an alpha of the first 4 regions, and everybody's like, it's really smooth, it's really good, here's my money. But yeah, it's coming out and everything as well, which is very neat, but it looks beautiful.
I had a quick look, it looks very nice.
Yes, and like I say, people who are disappointed with the new Pokemon are basically saying this is a small Spanish developer, and they've done more than a company who really have no problems with money at all. So yeah,
go on, lads.
See, we're back at it again. It's because we don't get to chat anymore. It's like, oh, and there's this thing.
The few times we've had as well have been like we had a quick chat on Skype about a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? To meet the baby, but that's about all we've really managed, other than Twitter, isn't it? Because again, you get home with silly hours and you're asleep, and then I get home and not even silly hours, but I get home and then child is like, well, I need you. Like, oh, okay, this is my evening gone.
And also,
I don't resent it. Let me just say, I do not resent it. It's great, but also, motherfucker, do want to play some video games at some point in 2020.
There is that thing where often you'll get to Twitter and be like, oh, there's a message from CJ. When did he send that? 4:03 a.m.
Or it doesn't send me the notification, and it's like, oh, I didn't forget you. It's just my phone's being a dildo.
4:03 a.m. September 12th.
Yeah, like, ooh, should have replied.
Right, so I've got the categories.
Scattergories. So this is the first part of the show where we go through our fun categories before we get into the meat of the top 5s next time.
What is this noise? It's the mug that you got me that says Barista of the First Sin.
Hey! I wondered what it was going to be in this year.
Yeah, I did. It was a late decision.
It's fine.
So all of the categories, is the Foley coming through?
Yep, there's some crisp crinkling. Let's get a clean take on the crisp crinkling very quickly. It's good.
Did that come through?
That's good. That's very clean. I like it.
By the way, this week's 0-1, really good.
Look, I haven't watched it. Be nice.
I picked a category.
What you got?
I don't know yet. I've not opened it.
Open it.
Smoothing out the paper. It's a long bit of paper. Best gaming moment.
Oh. Do you want to go first or shall I?
You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, my one this year is pretty easy. Again, very similar to one I had a couple of years ago. My guest gaming moment this year is finishing off One Bro 2.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because this was over a year and a bit of effort. 223 episodes. around 900 deaths at the time of writing. Pete's still doing the count, but we're around 900 at the moment. So that's not great. And just like...
You've done it. You've done it without leveling, which is insane.
I've done it. And I genuinely did not think I would get this done before the baby was here. 100%. Based on my experience with the Fume Night, which those of you who have watched the series will know, nearly broke me. I think I died to the Fume Night alone probably 175, maybe 180 attempts. I'm going to
ask you a question now. Because we said in the past that with Dark Souls 2, you did get it early when you were writing for was it MK something or other?
MK Gaming, very good. Well done.
Yeah. And it seemed special to you that you went into it early, that you couldn't really talk about it, you really loved it, all this sort of stuff. And now you've completed it without leveling. My question to you is, it is the best one, isn't it?
I think it is the best one.
Here's
what I'm going to say. I don't know if it's the best one, but it is my favourite.
Yes, okay.
And that's what I think is...
I can align with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the more important question, I think. Because much like we always do with our top 10s and our best of the lists and all that stuff, is... Because we never do, like, what's the best one this year? Because then you've just got IGN's fucking list. Or then you've just got
everybody else's.
GameSpot's list. Or everyone's fucking list. It's the same 10 games. They mix them around a bit. Sometimes they'll throw one in there you weren't expecting. But it's the same stuff. Ends up on everybody's bloody list. And it's boring. That doesn't speak to me. Like, what speaks to me is what was your favourite? What did you connect with? What did you enjoy the most? Like, what speaks to you as a person? What would you pick and go, oh, that one did something interesting. I'll play that one. And while I agree that, yeah, I think of the main, let's say, 5 of the Souls games, Demons, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3 and Bloodborne, I think Dark Souls 1 is still the best one of them, but Dark Souls 2 is my favourite.
I'm talking like the 3 core like Souls games, because I'd still, for me, it's still Demon Souls is just an anomaly. It's wonderful. The atmosphere is incredible. I can't wait for the Blue Point remaster. #CJ was right.
Oh, this again.
Yeah, this is where when it happens, Xanadu by Olivia Newton-John will come on in your house, and you won't know where the music's coming from, and your child will start running, and there will be like rainbows coming off her, and she'll just do a lap of the world, land, give you a wink, and then shit herself. But yeah, I don't know. Like the thing that I always come back to with Dark Souls 2 is that like Dark Souls was different to Demon Souls. It was very much its own thing. There were similarities, yeah, but it was different. Dark Souls 2 was just like, here's a fuck ton of mad ideas that aren't Dark Souls. Great. And then Dark Souls 3 still feels really snide, and that somebody that resents their fan base, and it plays well. It plays like a Dark Souls Bloodborne and stuff, but there's just something underneath it which just seems like resentment.
It feels like they've just tilted that needle just too hard in a few directions. Like, let's put some more lore in it, but like, I don't understand the lore of Dark Souls 3 at all. I don't get it. There's so much going on in that game that I don't quite understand. Admittedly, I haven't looked into it because I don't like the game that much. But like, they've turned up, yeah, it probably controls the best out of all of them. Like, it's smooth and it works, blah 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 blah. But like, the actual balance of the levels, they're just too fucking hard. They're just too hard. They've doubled down on the wrong things. Let's
bin off everything about Dark Souls 2. Doesn't matter if it's great. Let's bin it off. And like I say,
CJ, no. Let's put in that one tree man in the first area and just leave him there. That's the only thing.
Oh, let's kill off. Is it Gilligan?
Yeah,
just leave him dead in an area
off camera.
But the thing is, like, there's lots of copycat Souls games now, but I've not seen any that have really gone into, and I've not seen many games do this in general. But in the same way as Dark Souls was revolutionary with regards to its online component and the way it's, a lot of
world was put together,
Yeah. But why has nobody taken that, beat everybody in a level 8 times and they're not there, Like, go to a bonfire and you can essentially bring forward the New Game Plus version. And New Game Plus of Dark Souls is amazing and curated anyway. So you're not only bringing through more surprises and harder enemies, but also different gear. Why has nobody picked up on that?
Like, it's the whole difficulty slider is like the games. They do have a difficulty slider. The one that you put there, the one that you say, actually, let's make this area harder. Let's try again with a bit more. Let's not summon. Let's not use these things. Or you want to make it easier? Let's use all this stuff they've given us. Like,
and also rather than running around an area and lapping it and lapping it and lapping it, if you finding an area difficult, there's chances are that you can at least get to a certain point with killing the enemies and then go back. And if you're then clearing all the enemies in that section and just keeping on going, chances are that you've not only become better at the game, but you've leveled up a couple of times anyway, so you're more prepared for the next area.
I would
than you
argue
might
that
normally.
without that mechanic, I would have had severe problems at one or two places in particular in One Bro 2. Like, without the DLC, the emptying of the levels, some of those DLC levels would have been next to impossible. Like, I just couldn't tank the hits needed to run past it. Like, as usually you can gear up and you can run past. Like, I'll be fine. I can just run through this shit. But you take one odd hit, you're done. Like, I needed that. This is why, to an extent, I don't want to do a Dark Souls 3 season because I don't like the game as much, and I don't know if I've got the patience for it. You know, same with Bloodborne. I don't think I'm good enough.
I mean, also the NPCs in Dark Souls 2 are fantastic, just fantastic. And I don't know. I just think that we've been rattling this cage for a long time. We are Dark Souls 2 apologists, and I think that there's going to be a point where more and more people come back to it and just go, you know what, this isn't perfect, but look what it did. Because I think that's part of loving it. It's acknowledging its weaknesses, but the way that it strives, and people just see it as the copycat game, and it's not. It's really, really not. And I don't know. There's something tremendously personal for me in that game, anyway. But I think it's its own thing. And if you're talking about lore as well, not only is the lore of the game really good, but it does the thing with Dark Souls where it goes kind of like, myths and legends twisted in time. Yeah. You might find something, you might not. But it doesn't lean into that. Like, it's not asking you to draw a line between A and B. And that story is just phenomenal.
It's great. And do you know what it is as well? I think, just to kind of go back to like a wide view of it, like you alluded earlier to when I got the game early and I played it, I got to about the Smelter Demon before it came out for regular release. It's about as far as I could get. And it was mine. Like, that game was mine up to that point. Like, nobody else had played it. Like, I had this with a few review games that I got. Like, Last of Us, I got that, and that game was mine. I finished that a week before everybody else did, and I couldn't fucking talk to anyone about it. It was infuriating, because I was very upset. But this was the same with Dark Souls. It was mine, and then everyone caught up, and yeah, the first half still felt like it was mine, but the back half doesn't. Like, at that point, like, everyone's done it at that point. You know, you can look up things on YouTube. You know, people are talking about it. It's not personal anymore. Same with the DLC. The DLC was never quite mine. I didn't really get to it until much later. I'd only ran through it once before this. You know, there were some bosses I'd not beaten. Dark Lurker, I hadn't beaten ever. I'd done the rest, but only like super tanking. Like, you know, I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. But going back through as a One Bro, by you know, really dialing down to like everything's a struggle. Like, every little thing, every extra point of dex you can get, every extra point of endurance, every extra point of adaptive fucking ability you can get matters so much more. And you learn the game more. You learn the levels. You learn where the tricks are, where the bits you can cut off, where the shortcuts are, where's the enemies that you do need to take out, because they will chase you halfway through the level and they will fuck you up the arse if you're not waiting for. Like, I now have a much better appreciation of the DLC particularly, I think, because I'd only ran through it once, really, before this.
How good is that DLC?
All three of them are really good.
Really different from the main game also. I mean, I keep coming back to it with regards to fucking Tanemura, but he put that game back together when it was broken and got it shipped on time. He did the DLCs as the solo director, and then still just went, right, I'm doing Scholar. And not only put bits into the original game on last gen stuff, completely did his fucking remix.
Yeah. 100%. And I would argue that those DLCs bring so many more ideas as well. Like, everyone's got its own shit that is not in the main game. Like, they've all got their own themes, their own ideas, their own... I mean, yeah, they're all DLCs throw in some new enemies, but they don't feel like copy-pastes of ones that are there before. They're their own thing, their own patterns, you know. Like, you've got the spiky hedgehog bastards in the Frozen place, which I hate.
Can we give... I mean, yes, the Frozen Lands in particular has loads of amazing ideas, but can we give a tip of the hat to that amazing moment where you drop through that massive hole and you just like there's the
with a team of frog boys coming with you.
It's just honestly going through the level and rescuing people from like chairs and them disappearing, and then seeing them on the chairs at the end just before you go into the boss arena, and as you step up they jump in with you, and the mechanic of like freezing the doors, and there's so many ideas in it.
That's one fight. That's one fight. Well, that's exactly. All that ideas are in one bit. And that do you know what, actually, that's quite interesting. That fight in particular was probably the moment I knew I could do it. Oh, that was the bit where I knew I could finish, because I'd done the first cat, Ava, polished that off. Took me about probably 15, 20 goes, but like when I did it solo. I was like, fuck, I did it. You know, I got Gal's Ring of Protection. Oh my god, I wish I'd been using it earlier. This would have been 150 episodes. Like, it's so good. You just run and nothing can hurt you from the back, and you just have to go, 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 go. He will save your butt. Thank you, Buns. Thank you, Buns the Ghost. Thank you, Buns. You saved my buns so many times. But by being Burnt Ivory King, which was, again, one of those fights that's really fucking good. And I remember doing it over and over and over again, and then doing it over and over again to help people, because you get the Lost Souls, and it's really fun. I think I popped that in about less than 10 attempts.
But while there's a kind of a tip of the hat in many ways to Artorias, it's not. It never seems heavy-handed, and there's so much that's very much its own within that. And you can if you're looking at movesets, you can then look at that. Oh, it's myths and legends that have been twisted and turned throughout time and stuff, but it's never been winky.
No, and I think Dark Souls 2 gets too much shit for like, oh, all the bosses are just man with sword. Yes, quite a lot of them are man with sword, but they all play differently. You're doing different stuff with each one. Like, Fume Knight is a very, very different fight to the Burnt Ivory King. Massively different.
Also, whilst there are weaknesses in some of the boss fights, things like the rats that's a great boss fight.
It's a weird boss fight. I like the weird ones.
Yeah.
Because when I did Burnt Ivory King in probably let's say sub 10 attempts, it was quick. I bought in a couple of summons as well, because I thought I'll bring the summons, I'll see how it goes, and we were doing really well, and we like flattened him in like the one that did it. And I had this little moment inside. I was just kind of running around the front room at that point, going ah!
Yeah, I can understand that.
I was very happy, and I thought, right, at this point, what have I got left? I've got Blue Spelty. I've got the 2 cats on Electric Ponyland, and I've got the end of the game, and that's it.
Can we go back again to say how great Electric Ponyland is, and the fact that it gives you your Justice League of NPCs beforehand? Dear Lord.
The Venga bus is a brilliant man, because I ended up calling Vengal the Venga bus by the end of it. He was amazing. You can just bring that whole team through, and you know what? If you know which way you're going, and if you kind of spec for like just going through it, you don't have to fight anything. You can just fucking run through it. You don't even have to fight anything.
That's amazing.
And this was a redemption for me as well, because when I did this the first time, as you are very annoyed about at the time, I got through the whole of Electric Ponyland and that boss fight in one run.
You certainly did.
I did it in one go. It was slow, but I did it in one attempt, and I was terrified going back in this time, because I didn't think, like, I don't know the area, I don't know the tweaks for the boss, I don't know how to deal with the ponies, I do not know what I'm doing in that area, and I had to relearn everything about it from scratch, basically. And that's what I mean when I say that this game kind of feels like it's mine again, because I now know this game inside out. I'm still not the greatest player in the world, No. I'm tenacious, but I wouldn't say I could do it all in a no-death run, that sort of stuff. I'm not insane. But I know this game. I know that I can now go through this and I know exactly where I'm going. I can know what I'm going for. I'm not going to, like, struggle with I'm a bit lost with it. So, no, I'm confident. I know where I'm going. And it feels like it's mine. Like it's my game.
I also feel that whilst it's always been a favourite of yours as well, I think you now love it to the point of having, like, bonded with it. Like, super bonded. I feel closer to that game than any of the other, probably by Demons. Demons was my first and stuff, so that's still super special. But Dark Souls 2 sits alongside it for me, and it's the reason why I'm more excited for Elden Ring than anything. People can bollock on all they want about Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin, like, jamming on the lore and stuff. But it's Tanamura that's in charge of Elden Ring, and it's his own thing as far as I can tell. So that I beat the chest for Tanamura, and I'm glad he's got. I mean, how long's it been since Dark Souls 2, and he's finally got, like, a full directing gig again.
Gimme Mora, Tanimura.
Well played, sir.
Thank you.
Played.
I would like to give one last point on this before we move on, because we can't be here all day.
Yeah.
One last thing on beating Dark Souls 2 on my own again. I didn't really beat it on my own, did I? Because I had Laura next to me the entire time. She was there for every single minute of every single episode. Is she pressing a bread knife into your neck at this point? Just I said it. You can let go now. It's fine. Yeah. It was so. I'm so happy that she was there for it. Like, even the sucky bits. Like, it was nice to have someone that go, just stop for a bit. You're not nice at the moment. Like, but I get Fume Night, particularly Fume Night. She would come in. Like, I'd be playing it for a couple of hours in the night, just quietly, like, and that's when I get angry. I get quiet. Like, you see that little sort of, like, you die, you go, and you start again. She come in and go, look, stop. I go, what's the matter? It's like, you are not okay. Like, I'm fine. Like, you've gone quiet. You're not okay. Like, actually, no, I'm not okay. I'm like, right, I'm gonna go have a calm down. I'm gonna have a cup of tea and sit down for a bit. And she was able to sit there and tell me, like, chill, or spotting things I didn't see, or, picking up on stuff that I was missing. Just having that extra pair of eyes there meant I could then focus back on the game. And, like, I could then focus on doing a good job, because that's, I think, something I struggled with on the first season of One Bro, is I was trying to talk and play, and sometimes I'm just going blah, 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 just noises coming out.
But I know that Laura's, from the sort of games that she plays, that she's very analytical anyway. So having that other side of you that's very different from the way that you are and the way that you play is really, advantageous.
Just having been there through the whole of the pregnancy as well. She was pregnant for half of that series, in varying stages anyway.
But that's
nice
an
to talk
interesting
about
thing
stuff. And we've got
interesting
now
thing to show to Violet when she's older.
Exactly.
As well.
So we've gone through, and people have asked questions about about how it's going for Laura, how things have been, like meetings we've got, appointments and stuff we've gone to, and it's all kind of there. Everything up to before the baby came. I mean, I finished the last episode, cutting it together and getting it done. Probably, I don't know, I think it was like 4 or 5 days before she came up, before she appeared. Being able to put like a little underline on it, like, I am done, finished, was so nice. And it was nice to be able to just get it done and get it, not over with, but like, to draw a line under it and say, did it, we can show her later, when she's bigger, we can show the things she did when she was growing. And it's just nice to be going through it, and going through and putting that final montage together was wonderful. So much fun.
Makes me happy.
Because you can hear me getting more and more excited as each boss goes on. You can hear me particularly, I think the cat, Ava the cat, I think it was a proper, ah! And I jumped out the chair and they started getting high. And the last 5 bosses, you can hear Laura doing a little in the background of everyone, and me just kind of hooting and hollering and running around the front room in a nightmare mess. Just a good game. I was so tempted to do another run of it recently. Like, as little as 2 days ago, I was like, I could do another one, bro.
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing now. I can get Gow's ring and I can just blast this shit.
Yeah, I think let this marinate. I think it's one of those where there are certain games that I can't go back to because the run that I had originally was special, and I don't want to overwrite the memories. And whilst Dark Souls 2 isn't one of those games, I think you've had such an iconic run and such a personal one leading up to Violet's birth that I'd be reticent to kind of do anything beyond that for the risk of writing over
true.
those memories again.
I will say as well. I said that last point. I've got one more point. I would say I got a little bit not sad, but a little bit emotional at the end because, like, this is probably the last one of these I'm going to do for a while. And the last few weeks have proven that I don't have free time like that anymore. Like, I don't have 2 unbroken hours where I can just sit and we can game and talk. I mean, both of us anyway. We could sit down together and talk and record and do stuff without having to worry that at any minute I have to stop. And that's going to inform a lot of my choices going forward, but let's not get into that. But, you know, this is probably the last one of these ones I'm going to do for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit sad because I've really enjoyed it, you know. And I would like to do another one. I'd like to do Demon's Souls one day. I'd like to have a go at Bloodborne. I'd like to do Bloodborne. I don't think I'm good enough. So I've still never beaten Orphan of Kos on any save I've ever had. So I don't know if I've got it in me. And based on something that Sean Cedarwoo, Lore Hunters, has done on his BL4 playthrough, he's had a very bad time with the Orphan of Kos.
Can imagine.
And I wouldn't want to have. I wouldn't want to finish the series, like abandon it. You know, I'd want to, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it the way I always do. Is everything has to die. I have to kill all the bosses, and I wouldn't want a series to stagnate because I'm not good enough. And again, that's probably why Dark Souls 3 isn't going to happen, because even with the baby taken out of the equation, I don't think I could finish it. I don't think I could beat all those bosses. I genuinely had struggled. Anyway, add on the level 1 restriction. I don't think I've got it in me anymore. I think I just want to play some easy games for a while. Give me a fucking Kirby game. So yeah, that was my best moment. Was finishing One Bro 2 and becoming the scholar of the first level. It me. That was 45 minutes of chat. No. CJ, I'm going to pass to you. What was your best gaming moment of this year, 2019, that we're totally recording in?
Best gaming moment. The Surge corporate sector. Now this crowbarred me. Like, going from absolute escalation, like the sheer momentum of changing areas and plot going wild, to suddenly clean white walls, pebbles with water fountains rushing over them, and that Radiohead-like music playing from the speakers.
Yeah.
It just goes to these crisp piano tones, and then within that serenity, there are and these magnolia and white walls that sort of stretch with like strange sort of like corporate walkways. You can see loads of enemies, and then there are rooms that there are smaller rooms that enemies are going to be in. But then it did these like 1-2 punches of revelation after revelation, and all of them were like, oh my god. And the story had been great up until then anyway. I still laugh at the fact that we were like, why would I want to play a character called Warren? Who the fuck is Warren? And then, we ended up really liking Warren. But the way that the plot built, and we weren't even at the end at this point. We were probably 3/4 of the way through. Maybe
there's quite a bit to go still, yeah.
Maybe 3/5. And to then just the story having the confidence to just gut punch you, like one after the other with revelations, and doing that within the most serene music and the most, your corporate pebbles and your water fountains and all that sort of stuff. It played with tone so well. And going into that, it threw me completely, but it also put me in a situation where I was not expecting the revelations that kicked in there, and they were good. And
I'll give you 3 non-spoilery words, and I just want to hear what you think about them. The Green Room. Right? Right, the Green Room. And we're not going to talk about it, but the Green Room.
I'll give you 3 more.
Go on.
The Boardroom.
I'm gonna give you 3 more. The Boss's Office.
Honestly, that game was great. We're touching on a lot of Souls stuff that I didn't think we'd do in this, but I genuinely think that this is some of the best writing in any Souls game, and it's not cryptic. It's not a few lines and a bit of lore. It's really out there, and yet it still rags in your head. And there's so much dotted around on walls or little things that you notice, or the way that you might go back into a level and everything's changed. Is
this our platform for 2020? Make Souls games understandable again. Make it so I haven't got to watch fucking 30-minute YouTube video to understand why I'm playing this stupid video game. Like, let me work it out myself with, context. And it's not cryptic. Like you say, it's just there's notes there and you can piece a story together. It's not like there's notes here, and if you put them together in the right order, you might get a hint of what the story's going on, but you're going to be unsure. Like, no. Leave some unknowns, but give me an idea why I'm here.
But all of this seemed super confident and really sincere and really curated. And it's the weird thing is that I'd not seen anybody shouting from the rooftops about the Surge, and I don't know why. Because I know
Deck 13 who developed Lords of the Fallen, didn't they? And that went down a little bit like... It didn't go down well, did it?
But, I mean, this
maybe that shook people's faith in
I just think I think there's a snobbery at times within any fan base about the things that you're allowed to like and the things that you're not. And I don't know why it didn't get the fanfare. I mean, there is a very militant fan base for it. I've discovered now, but I don't know. Nothing really came through to us about it, which was wacky.
But, I would say I probably wasn't sure about it for the first hour or two, but then once you kind of dial into... Because you try and play it like a fucking Souls game, don't you? All these games come out, you try and play them exactly like Dark Souls, and it doesn't work. You need to adjust to like what the game wants you to actually do. Like, you target the limbs.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that Demon Souls resonance. And I think that it did a lot of things that that Souls had never done. I liked the levels. I liked the levels a lot, and it felt like a place. It felt tangible. The story and the lore behind it was brilliant. And I think it was the second level where I got into it. It was like, oh yeah, but then I got the DLC, and all of a sudden it was like, oh god,
there's more.
You shook it up. But yeah, I mean, the corporate sector is my favourite gaming moment, I think, although that would be chased down a little bit by Creo World in the Surge, because that was just magnificent.
Great idea
just
for
magnificent
DLC.
In every single way. So yeah, that's mine 100%.
I like it. To just echo you, I had exactly the same reaction walking into the area. You walk into the corporate office, it's like, oh, this is just fucking Amazon. I'm in the Amazon office. This is what corporate offices look like. Yeah, this is some tech bro company that's got up itself. I wonder how many of them we've got these days.
And that piano music starts playing, and you just go, wait, what? And then you look around and you go, oh. And, there are those walkways that kind of twist up and move around, and it all feels like an office. It doesn't feel like like gaming design. It
Tiny
feels
little
like
shitty hedges in there, like the sort of like artful foliage.
Yeah, and then there's rooms with like pictures in there, and well, let's have a meeting in the art room, and it's God. And the things that it does within that level, that just it's almost as if it's kind of blindsided you in one way, and then it's just waiting to absolutely maul you in the next.
Yeah, on a mechanical point, being able to see so many of the enemies because it's quite open, you're like, fuck, I can see. Oh no, I know who that is. Oh, I know what that is. Oh, there's one of those spider bob things. Oh no,
just great.
Show me the shortcut now, please.
Super great. And also, no technical issues with it whatsoever. The lighting was fantastic.
Smooth as a whistle.
Yeah, loved it. And I like the fact that it was kind of quite bouncy and Bloodborne-y as well.
Quicker than I gave it credit for at first. I think I decided to tank hard at the start of that game, and it didn't work for me. And as I dropped my weight down and got faster, it felt right.
Yeah, that level in particular, though, I think that is the the point that's really sort of beat me up.
Big
And I
level.
suppose in a comedy way, as a little aside, Phil Spencer playing Destiny 2 on Mixer with Bungie's Pete Parsons and absolutely roasting him was just genius. I like Phil. Always seemed like a gamer. He's gone on record about the time he's put into Destiny 2. It was fun to see him playing his favourite and seeing what weapons he'd got and stuff and how he actually played. But the way that he tore into Pete Parsons, why do you hate sparrow racing?
Yeah.
Oh, don't hate sparrow racing. We don't. It's just, where is it? Are you bad at it? It's like, Phil, are you good at sparrow racing? And Phil was like, yes. And then he was like, oh, a blue. Another blue. You really should do something about this. Just all dry as fuck. Like mates ripping into one another. And I'd not seen that side of him before. And it was good.
Glorious. Glorious.
Let's do the next. Oh, I'll bring the mug forward.
Back into the mug of mystery.
I've selected a choice.
Good. I'm glad.
ASMR.
That's
I'm
the-
smoothing out the paper.
That's the premise of the show.
Best co-op.
I think you should go first on this.
Okay. Because I don't think that you've got the answer that I have.
Let's find out.
Okay. My favourite co-op of the year. It was You and I, obviously. But my favourite co-op of the year, by a country mile, was Outward.
Okay.
It was something, the sort of thing that we'd never played before. And I know we've played like Soul stuff, but the way that we were figuring it out and the way it seemed dangerous, and there were no maps for the levels, so we were kind of seeing how far we could go and what we could get away with, and then the things that we could sell, and we were pulling in for one another, and we'd then go away and do our separate stuff that we'd find, and we'd swap notes, and you were playing with Laura, split screen co-ops, great as well, and it was great hearing how you and Laura played together and both playing to your specific strengths. But then you'd come back into my game, or I'd come into your game, and we'd do extra stuff, and we'd find things, and we'd absolutely pant ourselves laughing, or we'd be like, oh my god, no. And
Do you remember the saga of that time that we got a bit ill in the game and we worked out that you had to use tea to fix it?
yes, that was
Running
that was
around
a
the town
genius
going like,
moment.
wait, hang on, no, because I think I've got a recipe for this and it says it cures... it was something like viral infection. Like, wait, that's what
Yeah.
I've got. Hang on, what do I need? Oh, salt water. I can go get that. Hang on, wait, and something berry. Where's the shop? Run, come with me. Run. It had this real kind of like urgency to it of like figuring it out, and it's all you can work everything out as well, which is what I like. Like, there's nothing. It's not like when Minecraft started. You've got to look up recipes for shit. You can work things out. Like, you can
But
chuck
there's
something in the
also-
fire and see what happens.
There's also the degree that it was made by, 8 people? And there's more there than I've seen in a Bethesda game. And, they made the decisions to lower the fidelity so that you could do the online co-op, so you could do the split-screen co-op, particularly. But I had such a good time, and there are things that you forget about, like... The sound of the music when you walk out into the field for the first time, and how vast the world feels. And, dropping your backpack so you can have a fight. Or forgetting your backpack in the snow, as I did. And I was
Forgetting
I
you've
had
got
to-
your backpack on, and like, why am I rolling? Oh yeah,
Oh, no. Why is it getting... Oh, Jesus. Can I get back there?
putting the wrong backpack back on.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't mine. Hang on, I've got yours. Fuck.
But
Or getting the backpack button wrong and putting your weapon away instead of taking the backpack. I'm like, oh fuck, oh no, wait, I've got my torch out. Nope, this is wrong also.
But the world was so, sinister and so beautiful. And, yes, games are getting more and more photorealistic and stuff, but I'd wager one of the most beautiful things I've seen this year is getting near to that Magic Mountain and seeing how the wind blew across the grass, and the grass, turned from greens to blues to purples, or even the point where it starts snowing. Oh my god, the point that it starts snowing.
And the whole map is then a chilly, frosty fun time.
Yeah, and you have to look into your change of clothes and how long you can stay out for, and
bring some special hot drinks to keep you dry, to keep you warm, and bring food that's going to last in the cold weather.
But none of that was overwhelming either, and it felt like we were figuring stuff out together. And the fact that you and Laura could play as well, and you were both playing to your particular strength. That Laura was being her analytical self. She was kind of following you. You were doing kind of the fighting. Actually made you, from what you told me, it sounded like you were a couple in the game. That you were both playing to your strengths, but you were working things out together. And
she genuinely enjoys like the survival stuff, like
I know,
picking up sticks in the forest and turning them into stuff. That's Laura's whole shit.
But
if you could see how many hours she spent on Dragon Quest Builders this month alone, good lord, man.
But you then brought that into our co-op, and you'd figure stuff out, and I was like, oh really? Oh, that's really cool. And I'd showed you like the little things that I'd learned in the meantime. And I just think that it was something that we'd never really done to this degree. And it was a game that had come out of nowhere and was still not being talked about massively. But bizarrely got some shit-ass reviews here and there. IGN stick your 6 or 6.5 right up your arse. But I think it was really special, and I super enjoyed that time of us going out onto adventures and figuring stuff out. And
did we get chucked in prison, or was that me and Laura?
That was you and Laura.
Good lord, good lord! We got caught near a bandit camp and woke up in the prison without any of our shit, and it's like, what?
That was
I
really
need
good.
that.
Also, I mean,
it took us an hour and a half to get our shit back.
There are moments where that could be a random thing if you died in the world, as to whether something really bad happened or if a stranger found you. And the first time you found that kind of really massive alien creature, and he was reading books, and he was like, I really like human words and your fiction, because we don't have that. I've left you some things in the tent for when you're ready to go, and I'll see you again. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. And when you encounter his race later on, they're horrible. And little bits where, do you remember when we got to that second city and I took you and we were running around the fountain, and I showed you my second house.
Yeah.
Also, with talking about the different ways that we've done the game, there was the first quandary in the game, and we both did it completely differently.
Oh, the
house.
The house thing at the start, yeah. Because you can, go and make a load of money by fighting things to kind of pay off the debt that you owe so you can keep your house. Or if you can get a favour off someone, you can do that, and then you just did it.
And there were things like when you did get into a new area. Because initially you go out and you've not got a map, and you're like, how am I supposed to remember my way around? But you start looking at locations, and you start getting cues from, it feels like when you're a kid and you're going out. And you notice your way back and you notice your way around, but you get to a new area and you're like, I have no idea where I'm going. And then you see things moving in the distance, and rather than being like, I'm going to fight you and see what weapons you've got, you're like, I am going to keep a wide berth from you.
You are the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
It might be just an unknown. You might be able to take it, but you might not. And there's a point where things start to get dark, and you've just got your lantern, and the night times are terrifying, like Dragon's Dogma levels of terrifying.
Proper dark. Bring a torch or fail.
But also, there are points where you just like, I can hear things in the distance. I'm just going to stand here until sunrise. And there's been points where I've not really been able to get the lay of the land, because it's been so dark and I've not known the area. And God, it's just, it was great. But that bounce between you and I doing stuff, then you and Laura doing stuff, and then it coming back to me doing some stuff on my own, then us coming back together and swapping things that we'd done or things that we found. that was super special, and that hadn't happened before. And nice to bring, I think, the world of Laura, and it's nice to bring kind of Laura into the mix with something that is very much her thing, and the tales of you two playing it together as well made me really happy, because I can just imagine how it played to your strengths.
It's the closest I've got to her playing something Soulsy as well, which is the closest I've been able to get so far, and I'll take it, man. I'll fucking take it. But yeah, no, fully agree. It's a very, very good co-op. I very much enjoyed it a lot in the various forms that it took in my life. So I'm glad I got to experience all the kinds of it. The online and the local. It was great.
Yeah, it's a superb game, that.
And even that you're looking at Laura's screen, like, where are you? She's like, where are you? Like, oh fuck.
That's
did you go left?
My job,
I went
left.
left.
Where I wander off. And,
did you go first left? Yeah, I went first left. Did you go first left? Yes, I went first left. Well, one of us didn't, because we're definitely in different places.
And also, if you do go into like a bit of a dungeon and stuff, there's a point where you just go, how much can I take home and sell?
Oh my god. Well, this is the only downside of playing with Laura, because Laura likes to pick up everything.
Yeah, me too.
No, CJ, you don't. Trust me, you travelled light. Laura will intentionally overburden herself and stumble home for 20 minutes.
No, I'm with Laura.
Just because she doesn't want to drop some shitty wooden club. Like, it's worth a gold. Put it down. Put it down.
With Laura on this one.
You can put it on the floor, run to town and come back and get it, and get back faster than it will take to waddle.
Yeah, but she's probably going to be the one that's spending it on stuff which will improve her playthrough when she gets back. So even if she's walking back. Also, the falling asleep thing was great. With there's a 70% chance that you might get ambushed while you sleep, and those nighttime ambushes were fantastic as well. I loved it. Just really, really loved it.
Good game.
I thought it was super clever, but the time that I had, the time that we had, and the time that you and Laura had all kind of came together with that for me.
Sweet.
And yourself?
My turn. I had 2 for this. That was one of them, which I wasn't sure about, but I went a different way. I thought for sure we'd have the same one on this, but I'm glad we got it. We get to talk about both now. It's a freebie for me. Dauntless.
Okay.
Holy shit. This one was one that came out of nowhere for me, because this was another recommendation from you, which most of my things that I play these days are. Because, when you lay it out, budget, free-to-play, monster hunting from the people who made the Fortnite, you think, nah, that doesn't sound like something I'd like.
Not directly the people that make
it. You know what I mean. It's got that sort of look to it. You're like, ah. Okay. I usually avoid the free-to-play section, like the plague on the PSN. I'm like, I don't like any of these games. It's just waiting for the bit where they ask you for money. But no, holy shit. What a good game to give you for free. It's got that Warframe thing of, this is free. Is this free? This game is free. It can't be. It's too good to be free. Dauntless has bags of colour. It's got really good, I think, design sensibilities. All the monsters look like their own thing. They've got this cartoony flair, like this wild design. And I would say they're not as realistic as you'd get in Monster Hunter, not as believable, but they do have their own style. Like, they're cartoony. The explosions are big, the colours are loud, the sparks are high. It's like you're playing a comic version.
There is
of Monster
that kind of almost Disney Infinity aspect to them,
whereby for sure.
you could 100% see like figures of these, and you'd be like, yeah, that look great. I'd have one of those.
It's a little bit Warcraft in places with the kind of the way the armour looks. That sort of chunky, very sort of, not cartoony, but that very chunky, stylised armour. Everything's got colour, you can see everything, you can look at someone and go, I know what they're wearing, that's rad. And can we just say, the ability to change the colours on your ship from the get-go, go on, son. Very good.
I really liked the designs anyway. I thought they were great. I'm really sad that we missed the Bloodborne type event, because I'd love to be wearing that shit. But I will also say to you on this, hey, look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. Because we ventured into Dauntless and figured out that we give the much vaunted crossplay a go.
Yeah.
And it's been such a long time coming, and devs have often said it's just putting a tick in a different box. So I had my Epic account set up for the game. You downloaded and sorted yours. Straight in, the clearest we've ever spoken.
Mental.
How is that a loner thing? Never mind, we were doing it across consoles.
And, might it be said, a couple of times we were playing, we'd have other people join in, PC players, who'd chat as well, and it's like, this is ridiculous.
Oh my god, I forgot about the natters that we had. There was one lad who was just like...
The nice Scottish lads, when we were fighting, I think it was the Ember main, and it just got... Because we started, and then we heard another voice, and we did our usually where you just kind of, you quieten down, like, okay, stop talking for a little bit. Because, you know, anxiety's a thing. There might be an arsehole, you never know. And then as we were like halfway through, we started being a bit more vocal, like, oh shit, like, you know, and then the lads started talking. We kind of forgot
about ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah, and we started chatting, and then it was like, oh, it just became a nice chat, and we should have really sent him a friend request and stayed on, because he was really nice. But yeah, like, that moment was like, hang on, so I'm on this machine, and you're on a different machine, and he's on a completely separate machine, and the voice chat is still wonderful.
It's just, it was... we never quite got over that because
how is it better than the built-in chat on the damn machines we have that talk to the machines that they are? Like, how is it better than the Xbox chat? How is it better than the PS4 chat? It shouldn't be.
Also, there's something kind of cool with. I know most games these days are like, oh, it's an open world, it's 10 times the size of Skyrim, but I quite liked going into an area and just like a monster being about 2 minutes away. I
really like throwing up your little the little flare.
That was fun.
Look, guys, he's over there.
Yeah, that was really intuitive. I like the weapons. I like being able to kind of stop a creature in its tracks if you timed it right.
Oh my god, the hammer that I use that lets you do rocket jumps. What the fuck?
I really got into the guns, but it encouraged you to play around with more than one weapon for the daily and weekly bonuses.
And I would say, compared to Monster Hunter, I found that I was able to use all of the weapons relatively successfully, relatively easily. Like, I have tried other weapons in Monster Hunter. I've tried the longsword, and I've tried the insect glaive, and I've tried loads of stuff. But none of it felt as good as hammer. Whereas the weapons feel like they've all got their own... What's the word I want to use? They've got their own movesets, their own ideas. But like, you can say, right, I want to use this and I'm going to hit hard. And I know what I'm going to do and I know how it works. I've got one charge to worry about. I think what is it? The spear that lets you blast out like a ball or anything at the end. Really, really good. Or the axe that makes you charge up like to stupid levels and do the beast damage.
I really got into the repeaters. I thought they were really good, and I liked the fact that you could run around, but when you pulled the guns out, you were slower, and you were then timing your dodges to get out of the way, or at the very least holstering them and running, and all of that was just great. The little bonuses that you got with regards to when you'd hit with kind of your specials and when you could do more damage, and whilst it's in the hunting genre, I don't think it's a copy of Monster Hunter. I think it's very much its own thing. And the battle pass is fantastic. They're not screwing over anybody. And
it's literally just like visual stuff. Really, it's not anything that in the grand scheme of things is going to make a big difference overall. And that's fine. I mean, even like the crafting materials they eventually give you, like, I don't think I used any of them more than I would have gone and just ground a few out. Like, it's not a big deal, but, you know,
although
you've got to have some cool emotes, you know?
It was, the emotes were very good. There was that hiding behind a log one, which was really funny.
That was funny.
Plus, you know, getting the colours was nice. Getting, drops of various other bits, and I think there were a few on Twitch downloads with regards to like item packs and things which were in there. But I'm with you entirely. I had a great time on that.
And so that crossplay was so easy. Why is it that easy? Why is it just add epic friend, cool, now begin? Like, that's so easy.
Well, Destiny seems to be like umming and ahhing about. They say that they're looking into crossplay, but and Warframe is umming and ahhing about it and says that they now might or might not. And here's Dauntless, and yes, I know it's still pretty early in its cycle, but it just worked. It fucking worked. And was that clear. But also, even with us coming into it, it was just like, oh, your Epic account thing automatically bounces up when you're in the game. Oh, add you mate. Hello. Oh, Jesus.
I'd even say with the because every fight you throw 4 people in, unless you say I'm doing it on my own, you can do it unless you particularly say me please. You'll be thrown in with 4 other people, and normally I would say solo, just me, thanks. I just want to play this by myself. I don't like other people. But this was like, we'll do it with 4 players every time, and almost all of the voice chat was good. Like, people were having fun and playing. There's only 1 or 2 times when you get people like bitching, like, oh no, you're doing bad damage, blah blah blah. It's like, guys, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever.
Can we say as well that Switch is now in the mix?
Oh really?
On
cool.
top of the stuff that we did. Plus, I like being able to spec up before a fight. Where it's like, oh, we're going for this, right? I'm going to try this time. And when everybody's fully specced up, and the game's still loading in the meantime. So it's it's not like a Destiny's thing where you've just got your ship flying and stuff. And I know you can now sort of change your outfits anyway in Destiny. I just thought he was really nice. Plus, it was interesting to see what other people were dressing up at the same time as you.
The fashion's good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, the fashion's good, and like each element that you can equip has different like kind of bonuses, but there's still like I think there's like 6 main elements of gear and like a non-elemental one, but you get like 3 or 4 choices for each one, and they've got different small bonuses. Be like, right, I'm fighting an electric monster, I'm going to put on my electric resist gear, but I've got 4 or 5 of those, so I'm going to pick the one that I like the look of the most, or the one that's the strongest. So you're not kind of stuck into having, I'm just going to wear this gear because it's the gear you get off the end boss and it's the good one and everyone looks like this. You can all mix your gear around all the time and it's no big deal.
Can we say how good the monsters were? Because I really liked the monster fights and the stuff with there was the disco dinosaur, which I really liked.
Love the disco beetle.
It was the one with, it might even be the same one where no, it was one of the ice creatures where it would send out those bats and you had to get rid of the bats first. And
I hate those things.
But it was a really different fight, and it was just fun. And even when we were going through the weekly and the dailies, it was like, right, we need to take on a fire creature. We need to. You look down your things and you're like, I can use 1 weapon and do 4 of those. Because I can hit him with fire. I've got repeaters. Do you know what I mean? You kind of scale
dodge them pretty easily. Yeah. I can stun it pretty easily.
Yeah.
What I would say as well, the first time I think since Monster Hunter we've had a game where every, I would say 20 seconds, one of us would utter the phrase, "I'm sorry, didn't mean it. It wasn't me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it."
I thought it was great, and also what a player base to choose from if you're just running that smoothly across 4 different places now.
Yeah,
there is no reason that games shouldn't be doing this or should be umming and ahhing about it, because this is the high bar as far as I'm concerned. And whilst the free to play sector can get overlooked and maybe a little snobbishly, this to me is doing that sort of stuff better than anywhere.
100%. I think when crossplay becomes a big thing, I hope it does, it's going to take that onus away from, well, all my friends have bought the big game on this machine, so I guess that's the one I've got to buy as well, even if it's not the one you really wanted. But say you're, I don't know, a FIFA person, just to pull one out of nowhere. You're a FIFA. I know a lot of the lads at work are FIFA people. They say, "Oh, you're a game? Yeah, what do you play?" FIFA. It's all FIFA all the time. But like they go, "Oh yeah, I got an Xbox because they'll play on Xbox." Yeah, that's why I don't play anything else on there. I really wanted to play this on the other machine, but I buy this one to free people up to say, "I'll buy the machine I want to buy," and the crossplay stuff will all play across each other anyway. Amazing.
100%, and you're not going to get the thing that the play base is going to dwindle at a certain point. Because you imagine, say, if, like FIFA 21 is cross-play across everything, and then FIFA 22 comes out, I'd imagine there would still be a lot of people still playing FIFA 21, and that across consoles player base will still keep you deep in, and maybe even like a few years down the line, you're still going to have that pool to draw from. And I like it. That, you know, sell the next generation of consoles on their exclusives and their good ideas, but the multi-format stuff, just let everybody play together, please.
100%. Yes.
Let us pick another.
Next category, sir.
From the bowl, I've selected. Wish you'd played more of.
Ooh. Let me just roll up my Google Docs note, because that's the top of my Google Docs note. Okay, I will go first. The game I wish I'd played more of is not a video game this year. It is a board game.
Okay.
It is the board game which I've spoken about a few times. It's a game called Gloomhaven.
I'm aware of it, yeah.
It is the best board game. It is the best board game. Like, it's the best one. So Gloomhaven it was a Kickstarter success, and then it was another Kickstarter success when they did a second edition of it, with, you know, more printed minis and stuff, and more actual models rather than standees. It's just, everything about it is huge, and everything about it works. It is a game that you build up. It's a legacy type game, so you'll pick a character and you will literally build the game as you play it. It's got amazing systems. It really, like, strategy where you make your own luck in a way. When you're making attacks and movements and things, you have a deck of modifier cards that you've got that say +2, +1, -1, add fire. And as you level your character up, you adjust that deck, you put cards in, you take cards out, and you can literally build your deck the way you want it to be to help you out. And yeah, you'll still fail every now and again. But being able to kind of adjust your own luck in a way, like by saying, well, my guy uses fire a lot, let's put a lot of fire in this deck. You can add fire in and go, oh, I've made fire again, brilliant. Oh, I've made fire again, I needed that, fantastic. And you can build it yourself, and you choose what cards you add when you level up. You can add new abilities to your hand, or you can say, actually, I don't really want to use that one this time, but I'm going to bring this one along, because this one lets my bear attack 5 times in a row, and that's very, very good. Bags of flavour, bags of world building. It's not stupid world building either. It makes sense. Everything folds in. There's paragraphs and paragraphs of text to read out on every scenario you put out. Between scenarios, you go back to town, and there's stuff that happens in town as well. You literally build the game as you play it. Like, you are adding scenarios, you are adding cards in, you are adding items to the shop, you are putting new locations on a map that is a big board, and you add stickers on this map to where the places are, and then when you can go there and tick them off when you've done them. And you're literally constructing a world as you play. It's amazing. But we didn't find time for more than 5 or 6 nights of it this year. Because it is huge. There is a lot of game. To get it out, we literally have a separate cupboard to put this game in. We bought a cabinet for Gloomhaven. That's how big this game is. The game weighs 10 kilograms on its own.
You can't.
That's heavier than my child. Like, twice. There's probably enough in this box to fill an entire year of games nights, like once a week, easily. Like, there's so many boxes we haven't opened yet of characters that we've not unlocked and scenarios that we've not chosen, and, you know, figures we haven't seen yet. You know, there's so much going on in that box. Like, we love it. Like, me and Laura will get it out and we will play it 2 or 3 nights in a row. And then we'll have to put it away because we need the table back. Because it's big. You need the table, and you need an hour to take it all out and set the pieces up and get your scenario, get up and go through your cards and work out your guy. You know, remember what you were doing at the time. You know, work out what kind of cards you want to bring along. Have a look at the scenario. Go, okay, well, that one's got a lot of archers, so I'm going to bring my own range stuff with me as well. Or this one's got a lot of shield enemies, so I'm going to bring my cards that let me do piercing damage so I can go through their shields. Like, there's lots to it, but all these systems work together so well that you need to give it the time. But it's not the sort of thing you can pop out, play half an hour, or put away. And that's why we haven't played it enough, because having that 3 hours a night to get it out, sit down, play a scenario, maybe you don't win, maybe you don't do it, maybe you reset and try again, and maybe you reset and try again, and maybe it takes 5 or 6 goes to get it done. You're still leveling up, you're still gaining experience, you're still gaining gold as you play, but you're not necessarily beating the damn scenario. But you know you can, you know you're close, and you think, right, we just need to adjust a few things. We can tweak our adjustment, you know, we can try it a different way. Oh, it's so good! But finding those hours, finding that time to get it out with and it is me and Laura, we've played it basically the two of us, so it's not like we're relying on friends to come over to play it with. It's literally a game that me and Laura play together. And you can add people in if you wish, but, we tend to play it between ourselves. But finding space for it, and I wish I played more because there's so much game there. Like, so much game there. We've had it for a year and a half now. And we've touched maybe 20% of it.
Oh, man.
Which is mental. It's so, so good. And if you lived nearby, I would have you round to play it all the time. Because it is so, so clever. Cool. Like, as a student of games design, like, as, we are I know your particular experience comes from mostly games as well, and mine does as well. I mean, I'm more a board gaming person now, but, like, you can see so many just ideas and, like, clever systems. Like, oh, that's cool. I like how that works. That's a good idea. Oh, that's not... Oh, I'm getting hit really hard, but I can try this, and maybe that will work differently. It might be my favourite board game ever. It is absolutely the most technically proficient board game that I have, by a mile. And it's just nice to sit and play games with Laura. It's nice to have something that we play together. We have friends who live in London that might be coming down for a day, if we can get some babysitting this year, might be coming down for a full day of learning how to play Gloomhaven, because they want to buy it, but they're not sure about it. They says, look, come and sit down. We will play it all frigging day. It is not a problem, and you two will love it.
That's gonna be cool on two fronts.
I genuinely hope it happens, because
with you actually getting time to play it, getting time to have quality time together, plus leading somebody else into something that you love.
Exactly. I would argue a side point on this wanting to play more, which is not a big one, but I'm just going to throw this in because it's related. I wish I'd done more miniature painting last year. I did a tiny little bit, and I kind of let it sit because I was waiting for my Dark Souls stuff to turn up and just didn't do any for ages. And I literally started doing some again yesterday, and it's amazing. I'm having so much fun again.
I saw them on Twitter.
I painted my robots, and we played the game today with the painted figures, and it was so much easier because they weren't all a little silver lump. You could tell which robot was yours again. It was so good. So yeah, that's my wanting to play more. It's Gloomhaven, and it depending how this year goes, it might be the one for this year as well.
Cool.
Oh, it's so good. No video game left me feeling like I didn't get the most of it as Gloomhaven did, and I really thought this one out.
The one I wished I played more of was Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Oh.
I played tons of Monster Hunter World this year, but despite buying Iceborne, I wasn't in a place where I could venture into the content. I think it kicks in when you're a few monsters beyond where I'd ended up, and I think that knocked me out of playing it a bit too, as I'd been losing most of my time to it at that point as well. I must say, though, our time with the Iceborne betas was amongst my favourite gaming times this year, and that Tigrex battle was a beaut, with it slipping and sliding, and the level kind of getting more crunchy underneath its feet, and then it's going to like different parts and bits breaking away and seeing the fish underneath the ice. It was just a time.
I enjoyed that beta as well a lot. Like, it was fun. Yeah, man, Iceborne looks really good, doesn't it?
Yes. So I think
What did you pick it up on the end? Was it the one, or was it on the PS4?
Yeah, I picked it up on one because
you were further in that, weren't you?
I was further in that. Plus, in Monster Hunter World, I think I'd gotten up to Gusty Bum Pants, and I was kind of getting better at knowing them, but I wasn't able to get a huge amount of...
do you mean Kushala something?
Yeah. I wasn't always able to get people whose game I could join in with on that, or would join me. So I couldn't really progress past it when I tried to do it on my own. Just nobody was sort of coming into my game. So again, that sings loudly about having crossplay, I think. But yeah, short, sweet, and to the point for me.
I will hold my comments. This is good. Good audio.
Best thing, brackets, could be anything, close brackets.
Do we do this now, or do we save this for the end?
Now we do this now.
Do you think? I'm going to ask you to go first then.
Okay.
Just because it felt right.
Best thing for me, unsurprisingly, the return to music. Putting out a single that I'm crazy proud of, being able to get my photography out there as well, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've never really spoken about, but I do a lot of. And still stupendously proud of the song that we put out. We've been working hard since on loads of demos and sketches of stuff. It looked like the next single is going to be March. It looked like for the longest time we knew exactly what that was going to be, and then about 2 weeks ago we're an absolute pop banger, and which is in complete contrast to the first one, and I think we both kind of fell in love with it. So everything may be up in the air. Everything's there in the song. It just needs kind of fine tuning and mixing and stuff. But yeah, that's been really great. Falling in love with music, listening to it, and has been a wonderful revelation as well. And the joy of K-pop, which continues to evolve for me and just be this source of absolute chuff and joy. So yeah, it's genuinely been that, and you know, meeting a friend within that who's stupendously talented and creative, who's a pleasure to work with, and yeah, it just feels like a big part of me has returned, and it's as time has gone on since we started writing songs, and it feels like a part of me has managed to get centered that wasn't there, and it's a way to process the world artistically, which is I've had since I was 16. I was in first band, so to be able to have that funnel again is important to me. So I would say that.
That's amazing, and I would heavily point people towards listening to the episode you did of Make Something Awful with Richard from We're Not Wizards, where you talk about the process and like your time growing up with music, you know, the experience you had and how you got back to it and the processes you've gone through and the ups and downs of getting the single together. Like, I know we haven't chatted about it much, again, because our chat time seems to be quite limited these days. It tends to be on podcast or not at all. Like being able to sit there and listen to this different side of you that I would say, because I'm not really a music person, I've never really got a full handle on it.
How so? Because you mentioned this in DMs after listening, and I was curious as to what you meant with regards to
it's something
different
that
sides of me.
If we were to have a chat about it, like, you are so passionate about it, and it's not something that I know much about. So a lot of the references, a lot of the things that you're talking about, a lot of the experience you've had don't have like a touchstone in a way. Like,
yeah.
And it's this huge part of your like you know, going to gigs and writing music, like writing about, and like literally could be speaking Swahili, like in terms of how like relatable that is to me, because that's something I've never done. You know, I didn't really gig much. I don't really read music magazines. It wasn't really a big part of me, and for me that was games, really. For me, like that's the thing I kind of fell into, and that's the thing I kind of obsessed over when I was that sort of age. You know, in that sort of time in my life, that's what I had. So being able to sort of go that hard on music is not something I've ever done, but it's nice to hear how you got through it and where you are. And I think kind of, in a way, I know that we don't, because we live quite far away from each other, we don't have that hanging out all the time mode. And yeah, I know you super well. Like, you know, you're like one of my best mates. Like, we know each other really well. But being able to fill in another little piece of the CJ puzzle has been really interesting. It's been really cool. And the fact that you've been able to find someone to do this with and to get this back to, like, you know, a part of your life that was so huge that kind of fell away for a decade nearly, wasn't it? To see you get back there is really, really good to see as your friend, because...
Oh, this means a lot.
Yeah, and in part, I think maybe some of this was in part of because our schedule started not lining up super good, because I've been quite busy with baby and house moving stuff, and, you know, work's been fucking hell this year as well. So, like, sometimes we get home and we'd have an idea for a podcast plan, and we'd go, actually, do you know what? It's not happening tonight. You know, we're going to need to tack this off, or you've got back from work at a silly time, or I've been knackered off my feet all day, or we've got stuff going on. if you're listening, you'll know that we're not exactly a once-a-week podcast. Sorry, Patreon subscribers, we're going to have to give you your money back. We haven't done anything for 2 months. But being able to see you use the time that we would probably have been spending, putting this out, chatting about shows, playing games together and that sort of thing. But being able to use that time to something that's really important to you.
I mean,
is amazing.
I will always make time for you because I love you to pieces.
Oh, I know this. This is good, but
please don't think that this is because of that void. Because I would have been doing this anyway. As well as.
Oh no! I know you're not replacing me. It's fine. I'm good. I don't worry. I'm not worried.
I can get super analytical about this stuff, and I'm glad that podcast came across well because I loved that conversation with Rev, but so much of that was me being in my own head and explaining processes and passions and the cornerstones of how I experienced the world for the first time. I adored that conversation, and he's a wonderful man. And we are going to chat again in March as well, which is nice.
Oh, fab! So that's great, and I'm so glad you found someone that you vibed with the music side of things so well, so well. And the way we talk about games, and the way we play games, the way that we interact with them. I'm glad you got someone you can do that with music.
Yeah.
Because I am not the best sparring partner in that respect. I will completely I like that bit in that Limp Bizkit song where he said "fuck" a lot. That was good. I'm not that guy, and I'm glad you have that guy.
A very, very talented lad, and it makes me really happy that he's been complimentary with regards to kind of my creativity's lit a fire in him. His has lit a fire in me and stuff, and I'm crazy happy with the stuff that we're coming up with because it's weird.
I like that Luke can keep up with your pace.
Hey,
we got one.
See what you did there.
Hey, so yeah, I'm very happy for you that's your thing this year. Made up about it, mate. Honestly.
And also, I will sort of dovetail possibly into what you're going to say as well. Is the fact that I properly adore that Violet arrived on my birthday.
You bastard!
More than I could ever begin to tell you, and not out of a degree of spite or anything else, because I genuinely love the little blighter from a distance, and I see how happy you are, and I'm super fucking proud of the dad that you becoming. I love you to pieces, and it's just nice to see you kind of evolve into something that makes you even happier. And sorry, I'm chucking up a wee bit.
Look at us doing 2019 big boy style.
Look at us.
Look at us. Is that the handing of the baton?
That's the le baton.
The baton. So my best thing. So my microphone was dying a bit this year, and I got a new one. It's really good.
You did? How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, I went. I got you to get it. I'm surprised, didn't I? I got this lovely blue snow. It's in the copper colour. It's really nice. And then
Blue
I've
Yeti,
used that.
Isn't it?
The Blue Yeti, yeah, it's a Blue Yeti. It's a really good mic, actually. It's clean, it's clear, it's crisp. You can talk through it. And I'm using that microphone now to talk to you about the birth of my child.
Whee.
Hey! I didn't have a better joke for that. I kind of pulled that out the air. Yeah. I have written on my notes here for this thing, this phrase, 6 words. Come on, you don't need notes.
Yeah.
Don't be a prick. Come on, Dad. Yeah, my best thing this year, it only really could be one thing, couldn't it? There's only one thing could ever be. And it was the birth of our first baby daughter. Good Lord, I did not expect to be here at this point this year. If you'd have told me this last year, I'd have gone, nah.
So, nearly 2 months in, how has that experience been, and how have you kind of evolved? I would presume you're constantly on your toes trying to figure stuff out and
forever.
Surprising you and appalling you in equal measure.
100%. And we will do, for those who are curious and want to hear about this, I think on the next time we do a normal show, we'll do the whole thing. We'll go through all this, because there's a lot to tell, and it was a very interesting weekend. The actual birth was a very, very interesting few days. with several ups and downs. But we're not going to get into that today. We're going to save that for later because that's going to be another hour if we do that now. But in the broad sense, like in the last couple of weeks particularly, she's starting to become a person as opposed to a thing that you feed and clean. There's always that thing with the first couple of weeks where it's really easy. They just literally feed them and clean them. It's all you've got to do. They don't tell you that they wake up at 1 in the morning and 3 in the morning and 5 in the morning and then 7 in the morning.
I think they do tell you that. It's just
they do, but you don't believe it. It's
never been on your radar.
You don't believe them. Like, yeah, no, my baby will sleep better than that. We've had a couple of bad nights. The Sunday after we brought her home from the hospital, 4 days old, was not feeding at all, and we didn't have any milk in the house because we hadn't needed it to that point. We don't need milk. We'll just breastfeed it. It'll be fine. 11:30, your boy is watching Laura in bits. The baby is screaming her head off. Has been for the last half an hour. She can't feed. It's not working. She's biting away. When she's latching on, she's biting, which is hurting Laura. Everyone's upset, and I'm like, right, dad mode. Give me the shoes. Put my shoes on, chuck my coat on, left the house at 11:30 on a Sunday night to try and find somewhere that does baby food. It took me a good half an hour to even find somewhere open that sold it. Thank you, Brothers 24/7 convenience shop on Fratton Road in Portsmouth. You're the best shop. Good Lord. So midnight on a Sunday, I'm buying like 5 bottles of milk. And I'm at the till, not really focusing, just take the 20 quid. Just give me whatever change you need, it's fine. Give me the milk, give me the milk, give me the milk, give me the milk now. Grab the milk, shove it in my pocket, phone Laura, I've got it, I'm on my way back, I'm hurrying back as fast as I can. It's okay, she's calmed down a little bit, but hurry, I'm running. So jog back home almost, get in, send Laura off to bed, chuck the milk in the baby, and I believe I stayed up till 4 in the morning that night.
Mamma mia.
At which point then we tagged out and I kind of sat downstairs and just sort of vegged out and watched Netflix for a few hours, which was actually very nice just to sit there and just watch something quietly with the baby in your lap, kind of just calming her down. We did that for a couple of nights after that, just until she'd settled down a bit better. And we've always got milk now. There's always milk. There's always a lot of formula because you never know when you'll need it. But yeah, that's probably the lowest point so far of the whole thing, and even that was really more of we're in a situation, we've got to cheer the baby up, we've got to feed the baby, this isn't working, right, new tack. We're not going to sit here and get stressed about it, we're not going to sit here and get upset, we're going to put our big boy shoes on and go out and fix it. And that felt good to do, to get back and do it and fix it, and not only to sort the baby out, but to sort Laura out as well, because she was not alright that night, not even close. Since she's been born, her hormones have been all over the place.
Yeah, understandable.
She is a mess at the best of times, and I caught her crying over the fucking volleyball anime. Haikyuu. I caught tears. Really? And she's like, sorry.
Isn't that basketball?
No, it's volleyball.
Oh, that one's volleyball.
Haikyuu is volleyball. Trust me, I've seen a lot of it in the last few months. They're really into it. But in the broad sense, Violet she is the apple of my eye. She is the best thing in the house. She's the best thing in my life. The worst part of my day is leaving to go to work. I have to say goodbye. I've got to go now, baby. I want to sit here and hug you a bit more. I've nearly been late to work 3 times because I've been sat there with her on my lap I'll go in a minute. I'll go in a minute. I'll go in a minute. It's 8 o'clock. Fuck. I gotta go. Even, the last couple of weeks, she's really started to, develop, her legs are strong. She's sort of started to lift her head up when she's been on the floor on tummy time, which is when you're laying on their front, and they kind of learn to stand up a little bit and, lift themselves up and pull. She's been grabbing things now. She's holding Mr. Giraffe, which is her favourite cuddly man. She's been smiling back at us now. If you look at her and smile and stick your tongue out and make a hee-hee sound, she'll give you a little smile back.
Uh-huh.
That's the only thing I'm ever going to do from now on. That's my whole life now, is making the child go, ah. I would say it's been weird. Saying her name has been the weirdest part, I would say. It's not something I expected to say, but saying Violet, hello Violet, is weird because you just want to say, hello baby, hey baby, who's the baby? And decades of watching, years of watching internet videos where the word baby is inflected, hello baby, has slightly made my parenting a bit Russian. Hello baby, baby like snack, yum yum yum. Which has been fun, and Laura looks at me funny, but the baby seems to enjoy it, so it doesn't matter. But I don't realize, like, you don't realize how much everything changes. Like, people say this, and you don't believe them. I do not know what I used to spend my time on. I genuinely don't know how I used to spend my time, because I get maybe half an hour an evening usually to read quietly by myself, or to play a bit of a game, or to, watch a bit of telly without having to worry about the child kicking off. Like, she's like awake and she's playing and it's fun, and you're like, oh, we'll just give her a feed, and she's smiling, let's give her a bounce on the knee, let's put Mr. Toucan on because Mr. Toucan makes a song. Oh, she's upset, let's put her in her crib and give her Mr. Snail. It's always Mr. I don't know why. We've always settled on Mr. quite quickly. And she loves them. Like, she likes her toys. She notices her toys now. She's noticing me. She's only 7 and a bit weeks old. She's not big at all. She's already 12 pounds, which is big. When you lay her out flat, she's 2 feet tall. She's a big baby. If you have her in your arm for more than 20 minutes, your arm gonna hurt, man. Like, your arm hurt, and we both are learning ways of carrying her, ways of putting her down, things we can do to calm her down. We call them off buttons. Like, I need an off button. The phrase blue line has become a catchphrase in the house, because when she does a pee-pee, her nappy has a blue line on the front of it now. So when Daddy needs to pee, and it's coming soon, he runs out the room and goes, Mummy, I need you to take the baby. Why? Blue line, I have to go. It's coming now. And all these little things that, like, little in-jokes and little things. But, I mean, she's been amazing. She sleeps relatively well at the moment from what we've heard of other people. She's pooping incredibly. The most interesting thing is the consistency and the timing of the poo.
Patrick.
What?
Somebody's going to be on the bus or eating a steak bake, and you've ruined their lives.
I will give you one poo story.
No,
this is fine. No, this is good.
No.
I will give it in. It will be in vague terms. We went in to see Laura's work friends.
Sorry, folks.
I'm sorry. Just skip ahead 2 minutes. We went to see Laura's work friends because we hadn't brought her in to see or Laura's kind of workmates yet. So we thought we'll go into South. So we'll bring the baby and we'll say like, here's the baby, and everyone was having fun. We were having hugs and we were letting one of her volunteers give her a little bit of a feed. And she sort of looked and went, I think she's just done a poo. Like, nah, she's fine. And I picked her up and I smelled like, okay, she's done a poo. All right, I'm going to go deal with this. Right, I'm going to go into your kitchen. I'll give you the baby bag. I'll go. You guys chat. So I go in the baby bag and I shut the door. And about a minute later, after I opened the nappy and found out what was in it, I heard laughing outside because they'd heard me go, oh, God, when I opened the nappy. And heard me calling her an absolute weapon of a child. It was the worst one I've done. I had to do it on a chair in a kitchen. I think I used 9 wet wipes, which is a lot of wet wipes. A lot of wet wipes. And I came out that room 10 minutes later with her wearing different clothes because it was bad. I'm like, did it go? How did it go? It didn't go well. I says, we can hear. Every now and again we'd hear you go, oh, quietly from behind the door. But if I can do that, you can do anything. And I would even say, it's not even that bad, really. It's just a little bit gooey. But, yeah, the more kind of scatological aspects of fatherhood have been interesting. I would say me and Laura are coping fine with her. The fact that we can make her laugh now is just the best. We're trading off the late nights as well, so we're both getting sleep here and there. It's not... We had a meeting with the health visitor a couple of days ago and said, how are you both doing? We both looked at each other like, we're fine. I think we're fine. We fine? Yeah, we're fine. Like, easy breezy. The grandparents have been spoiling her absolutely rotten because she's the first baby for each set of parents, which is, huge on its own as well. So her Christmas this year was frankly ridiculous. She got more than me and Laura combined. We told everybody, no noisy toys. So now we have a lot of toys and a lot of batteries in a box. Like, that's good. A lot of spare batteries that they bought us this year inside the toys. That's nice of them to buy us batteries. We always need them. And yeah, as she every day, every couple of sometimes during the day, she'll change. She'll do something new. She'll do something for the first time. She'll giggle at you. She'll do a wee and she'll kick off and go, I've done it. Like you can see her kicking off. Like, okay, she's weed, I think. When she held Mr. Giraffe's leg for the first time, Laura sent me a video. I was at work and I melted. I literally fell apart. I was like, oh my god, she's so clever. She's holding things. It's a joy, and it's the best thing we've ever done by a mile. And the next couple of years are going to be interesting. I've heard teething is fun. So I'm getting ready for that. Apparently we're just about to hit the start of a fairly big growth spurt. Normally 8 weeks is when she cries at the most. That's when she'll just cry and cry and cry and cry for no good reason. So we're getting very close to that. So looking forward to that next week. But yeah, she's the best thing. She's the best person. I don't need a better person. And she was born on your birthday, which is so good. And it's so special. And yeah, I might have acted pissed off at the time. But I'm very happy that happened, you know. Because I know you were pulling for it the whole time. It's like, nah. Due date's way earlier. It's like 2 weeks ahead of that. Nah, it's fine. And the closer we got, it's like, hang on. Really?
If somebody could have said all those years ago, when we first started talking about Dark Souls, when we first did that podcast, that you and I would become like super best friends, and that you would have a child on my birthday, it would have been like, what? The first one's possible, I suppose, but...
It does mean I will never forget your birthday. Never!
If you do that, that's a bad thing.
Something's gone wrong. So yeah, she trolled Daddy on day one, but that's fine. And we have matching Kamen Rider shirts, and everything is good.
I love that so much.
And I did that sitting there with Laura asleep. Day one, 2 hours old, Laura's asleep, baby's asleep. I'm like, T-Public have got a sale on.
Was it, is that where you got it from? Because I think so. You might have gone to Redbubble.
It was T-Fury or T-Public or one of those sort of sites. I saw a tweet or something. It was like, 20% off. Like, fuck. Okay, I wonder. And you look at like, fuck, they're quite good. Fuck. Oh, they do baby grows. Damn it. Okay, click.
Yeah. It was a cute pic, though. Of you both in you.
And she hasn't yet ruined it with poo.
See? There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. She's the shit.
She's only done number ones in her 01 hoodie. Hey, so that's my best thing.
Right, let's
what a good couple of best things we've had this year. Foley. Are you just rolling it around a bit more, just for like for
No,
tension?
I folded it and then I smoothed out the paper. Still have an eye on.
Okay, so that's a game you wanted to play but you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I wrote that down. Anyway, okay, this is quite an easy one for me. Game I still have an eye on, wanted to play but didn't. The reason I kept it quiet earlier, Iceborne.
Cool. Talk to me.
So I don't know quite why I didn't grab it when it came out, because it came out in like September, right? A couple of months before Baby by quite a way. Like I had time back then. I did have the time. I love Monster Hunter World. It was one of my favourite games of last year by a very long way.
Yeah, you had a good time.
I gelled with it far better than I ever imagined I would. Like, I loved the beta that we just spoke about. Trying out the Tigrex, the Tigger, the tiger monster, the big horn boy, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
the one.
Good. Yeah.
Hornman. Trying out that was really fun as well. The new world seemed really interesting. There's lots going on. There's like new items that matter, like hot drinks and stuff, and the little pools with the lemurs in. They were fun. All the new monsters look cool, and it's kind of like classic. Like a lot of them, I think, are repeat ones, aren't they, from other Monster Hunter games that have been brought forward and up-gen.
And there is that degree of sort of fandom where you'll get a teaser trailer and there'll maybe be a roar of a monster at the end of it, and people will just go, "Oh, that's."
I get this with Tekken.
Yeah,
Tekken 7, they've added in quite a lot of characters, ones that weren't there. You're like, I wish they put Lei Wulong in, and then the trailer comes out like, oh, my boy! My special boy is back! I need to play with my special boy! And I imagine that's what a lot of the Monster Hunter guys get from those same trailers. Like, I know that. I know that face. I know those horns. And it looked like cool, like a lot of the monsters that, you know they were important because they'd announce it. And you see them and go, ooh, he's in it! The monkey one looked good. Rojang,
yeah.
And everyone's going, oh, yes. And my friend, I think was it you or maybe my friend Jimton was telling me that apparently there's a version that way he's invisible?
I didn't know. It must have been Jim Tim that told you that.
Yeah, there's either an or he's poisoned or something. But like, it just sounded like he was telling me all these facts. I'm like, that sounds like hell, and he's like, it was hell, but it was fun. But I don't know what it was that meant I didn't pick it up. Maybe I was playing something else at the time. I can't even think now because again, time has ceased to mean anything for the last 6 months. I could not tell you.
I was saying to you, like, I've got this ordered on PS4 and on Xbox One. Are you picking it up? And it kind of drifted, and a little while before you were like, I don't think I'm going to be able to at this point. So.
I think I had a couple of things on the go. I think I was worried about the Death Stranding crossover, possibly. I can't think what it would have been.
That went well for you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there, won't we? Yeah, I don't know what it was that stopped me playing it. I don't know what I was playing at the time. I don't know what... Because, again, we've played quite a lot of games like the Dauntlesses and the Outwards and stuff this year. And, again, Greedfall and Surge 2. Loads of stuff this year. More than I thought I'd played this year. And I just couldn't see a place where I could squeeze in that sort of time commitment that I used to do. I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on with the house as well, so we had lots of things to sort out in the evening, so I just haven't had that amount of free time that I had this time last year, even before baby. You know, there's lots going on. I'm doing lots of expressive motions with my hand that you can't see, but just know that I'm waving my hands around a lot, like I'm presenting something. And, I mean, now, I don't think I'm buying it at all, even though I want to, because... I don't know, and we touched on this earlier, I don't know if I could feasibly pick up a game of this type for a while. Like, at least until Violet can sleep all night, or at least most of the night. At least until she doesn't require 24/7. She might be upset in 10 minutes. I need to be able to stop. If I've only got 3 carts, and I'm halfway through, and she goes, wah, that's half an hour of my day just thrown away, because... I do think, though, that further down the line, there is something that if you are up early in the morning, you've sort of put her back to bed or whatever, that you could maybe still, in the same way as like Desters with bounties and stuff, that you could still feel like you're making a bit of progress or you're having a good time by just jumping into somebody else's game and kind of hitting stuff for a bit. Yeah, I guess. I mean, for me it'd be the evenings because mornings are not great for me. Yeah, if I wake up with the baby in the morning, I put her back to bed and I go, babe. Yeah, you know what I mean though. That spare hour you get. Well, we've been told when the baby's about 4 to 5 months old, that's when her brain kicks in. And not that it hasn't, you know what I mean, when her adult brain kicks in, and she'll start to understand circadian rhythms, and she'll start to sleep, you know, for longer, and there'll be a couple of weeks where it's really bad, and she'll be up every hour, but then she'll start to settle down again, so maybe we'll get some time in our evenings back again, and then when we've got a sleep in our own cot, in our own room, then we can actually do stuff ourselves again. That'll be nice, you know, to have you able to sit down and just play a game again, but for the time being, at least, for the next few months, at least, anything called Dark Souls, I think Destins is off the thing, Dauntless is probably off. All the games that start with D. That's weird. Because Death Stranding's on the pile as well. It's all the D games. Can't play anything with a D when you have a baby. That's not the point I was aiming at, but it's the point we've ended up at. Fuck it, done. Wanted to play it, but can't. Just no time commitments. Damn it, Iceborne. You look good, but I can't give you an hour.
You see, I think I'm going to have to be a wee bit wishy-washy on this, because I still sort of lingeringly look at Resident Evil 2 and kind of quite like the look of it. I'd still... The Division 2's dropped in price to about £9 now. It's done an Ubi, isn't it? Although, as I understand it, there are rumours that it's going to be coming to Game Pass soon. Okay. Like everything does. Yep. I've seen a lot of people talking about the Outer Wilds and saying that's really good and really frustrating and really quirky. And so there's a lot of sort of satellite stuff, but there's nothing that's really kind of grabbing me to the point of having to play it. Bar, you know, your things sort of in the far off distance and like next gen. I'd probably say for the next year, Elden Ring is still the one that I'm most curious about. But from the past year, I'd just say that Game Pass has been amazing, and there's lots of stuff. Rather than kind of staring down games that I wish I had, I've been playing stuff that I might not normally play. or little weird bits, or going like, yeah, I'll give that a go, that I wouldn't have gotten near, and I'm having a really good time. In the same way as, you know, when you rented stuff from like Blockbuster, and you were just like, you pick it up and you look at the back, you're like, yeah, all right then. It's a little bit like that, and you know, I'm finding lots of favourites in things that I might not normally go near, and that is pretty good fun.
To bring it back full circle to the start of the year, chase the weird, man.
100%.
Chase the weird.
So yeah, it's a strange one in that regard. There's not really.
So this is our this award, I guess, is our FOMO, isn't it? It's our fear of missing out award. But you don't. I think you've hit a lot of the things that you've wanted to, or even though you haven't mattered because you've had other stuff. Like you haven't got the missing out feeling, which is.
I will
good.
say to settle on something, I've still got an eye on the Elite Series 2 gamepad, which I've not got.
It's not a game.
But that's the only sort of solid, and the way I'm thinking with that is that there may well be at least like a branding revision for when the Series X comes out. So I don't know. We'll see. But I will say there is a game called Fade to Silence, which is a snow-based survival game, which looks like a little bit like regular survival game meets kind of the darkness of a Bloodborne and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've seen videos of this. Yeah, I know the one.
I really, really like the look of it. And I think that's the one that I've been checking in with more than anything to see price drops, or and I would still like to play Plague Tale Innocence as well.
Oh, same. Yeah.
That's one of those that I've not ventured in too far because I want it to surprise me, but everything that I have seen just seems kind of really weird and really cool. So yeah,
same.
A bit wishy-washy, but I'd probably settle on those. But
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Also, Game Pass is just amazing. It's just genius.
It's a good thing.
It's an amazing thing.
Do you know what? I'd even argue that Sony are finally getting around to sorting out PlayStation Now. Like, it's better than it was. I had a quick look, and I was even tempted to sign up for a couple of months because they've got some like PS3 shit that I've been desperate to play for years to play on there. Asura's Wrath, like, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a
JoJo ass game. I'll play that.
Yeah, that came to Game Pass like a couple of months ago as well. Although it did make me laugh at the start of the year. They were just like, yeah, we're not really ready to announce the Game Pass games that are coming up next, but would you like Grand Theft Auto 5? There you go. And I was like, really? You're dropping that kind of bombshell?
A lot of those were really moments, weren't they?
Yeah, and stuff like Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet I would never have played before in my life, and quite enjoyed the stuff that I played of it. And you know, it's little bits like that I'm enjoying kind of being surprised, I guess.
Nice. Go on, son.
There are very few left.
Ooh. 5 left, is that right?
I don't know. They're balls in the cup, darling. Biggest surprise.
I'll let you go first.
Right, well, it was going to be the Dauntless crossplay chat thing. So I did set...
Oh God, mine almost was as well.
So I did set something up afterwards and referred to another one of our favourite. This is the surprise within the surprise. And this is going back to our favourite names that we've found online. These are new ones that I've not mentioned, and there is one of these where I saw it and I was laughing so harder than I have at seeing a name for a while, and it's God tier. I don't know why we've not seen it before, but it is God tier. I'm going to hide it in this list. It's mostly chronological. I didn't know where to put this in the list, but you'll know it when it's there. So
I'm excited. I haven't been writing mine down for a while. I haven't got any of my lists anywhere nearby.
These are some new ones.
Go on.
You ready?
Go on.
Ye old git. Gingers at war.
What?
And in the same instance, just further on, was Jammy Smith.
No.
I've got a screenshot, I can prove this.
I believe you.
Kiss, kiss, boo, boo, chops, kiss, kiss.
That's really good.
Farts. That's the one.
Say it again.
Okay, I'm going to lead up to it.
Can you give me one more take of that?
I'm going to start again. Right. Ye old git. Gingers at war. In the same instance as Jammy Smith. Kiss, kiss, boo, boo, chops, kiss, kiss. Farts.
I'm crying. I'm crying actual tears. Oh my god, that's the best one I've heard in ages.
You see, there is a thing that PS4's got where you be playing Monster Hunter and you'll be like, oh, there's lots of Japanese names here. Aren't we cross-cultural? But Xbox, you have farts in your instance. You have farts in your tower. What's over there? Oh, it's farts.
Oh, that's glorious.
I'll continue.
Okay.
Betty Swallocks. My butts. Smelly cow teat.
What?
A potato sandwich. Betrayed Kerry.
There's...
What happened to Kerry?
What happened?
Maybe there was he or she or a pack of butter. That they split up with somebody and they were like, I'm going to get an Xbox and I'm going to go on Destiny and be good. So
this like Metal Gear 5 with Punished Snake.
I don't know.
Betrayed Kerry.
I'm just a pig.
That's quite good.
There was a Leaf on the Window, which is a song, as I understand it, about a leaf that's being on the window as somebody travels down from the north to a gig in Bristol.
Nice. Okay.
But farts. It's so good.
It's pure. Was it... I need to know. What was the capitalization like? Was it like capital F lowercase? Was it all lowercase? Was it capital? What was it?
There was an interesting spelling, but it was still farts.
You got to get past those senses.
Yeah, instantly you knew it was farts. People know what farts are like. But yeah, so that is a little bit of a naming catch up. There are some great ones in there, but farts is eternal. Incredible.
That's the best one.
PS4 may have people from around the world playing, but Xbox has farts.
That's the best one I've seen. That's better than Funnier Cloud.
It's on another level, and the more that you think about it, like the more that you enjoy it, and it exists in your head to the point where you might even be making a drink later and laughing. And waking up in the middle of the night and just find yourself laughing. And then you realise that you're thinking about farts. You're thinking about, I could play Destiny with farts. Or you'll be in the bath and you just think, hey, I haven't played farts. Yeah, I could play Destiny. It's just genius. It's genius. And I had to put down my controller because I was doing exactly what you were doing. So, yes.
Oh. Cool, I've wiped my eyes clear now. That hurt a bit. Oh, thank you for that.
That's okay.
That was good.
Your own?
Oh, it's going to seem rubbish now. Surprise. Okay. My fuck me farts. It's really good.
Farts.
Stop it.
What? Who's that talking to Lord Shax? Farts. It's not Lord Shatz. It's Lord Shax.
Oh no!
Oh, who's that over there looking for bounties from the gunsmith? Oh, it's Farts. Of course. Get your bounties, Farts.
Can you see Farts near Zavala?
You probably can. Oh, who's about to go on the strike playlist? Farts.
Okay. Enough. We can't do
Who's
this.
that in the European Dead Zone?
We can't.
In the middle of the Cabal and the Fallen fighting against each other. It's Farts.
We can't
And
do
they're
this.
and they're holding their own.
Oh.
Who's that with a rocket launcher? With an after effect which destroys all the enemies around them? It's Farts. You can go through every instance. Oh, I'm at Zur.
Anything.
It's Friday. I'm going to Zur. What weapons has he got? Oh, I can't quite see him because in front of me is Farts.
6 foot of farts.
Your face is grass, and I'm going to mow it. It's wonderful, and you might write it down tomorrow when you're at work inadvertently, and then spill a drink.
CJ, I'm off this week. I've got all week
yeah,
for this
of
to
course.
just go around with no distractions.
So you can have farts at home.
Farts on the brain. My surprise of 2019
Was that?
was that. No,
Yeah.
it's 2020 now. We're recording. We wait to record because we're not freaking mental, and we like to finish the year before we do our list. Every other outlet. My surprise of the year. I'm just going to get to it now. A real, proper, real, actual. No, really? What? Really? Real, proper sequel to fucking Gungrave.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh my god! I died. I was at work when this dropped, and I had to go upstairs. I had to literally go, I need to go upstairs for a minute. I've got to check my email. And had to go and watch this trailer, because I had to get it in me. Gungrave is a real personal favourite. Like, it's not...
Anime or game?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I had the game first, because it just, like... I found it for a tenner somewhere, and I remember reading about it in the PlayStation magazine, thinking, that looks weird. I'll give that a go. It's got the bullet shooting. It's got a weird cowboy man in it. That looks fun. And it's, like, the game's not brilliant. Like, it's not the world-changing, third-person shooter that's going to change the world. But it was cool. It was cool. And I had fun. And I enjoyed it. And it was over the top. And it was, if you just smash the square button, you'll just do this cool, fun bullet dance. Kind of like a bit more of a balletic version of Gun Fu, like you got in Equilibrium. Like the gun Carter stuff. A bit like that, but a bit more like anime. Like showing off, like, I'm going to do a spin and a dive and a pose. Yeah, I'm cool. My name's Beyond the Grave and I'm a cowboy. So I played the shit out of that. I got the sequel as well, like, because in the sequel there are 3 characters, and one of them is called Rocket Billy Red Cadillac, and he's a ghost who has a magic guitar.
Of course. And I can see how this ties into your eventual love of JoJo and then back around again.
Yeah, there's a line, a real short line between those two. And then we kind of the anime, like we heard about, me and Laura heard about it from somewhere, like, oh, we'll give that a go. And then for the anime to be like different but really good, like it's probably the best aspect of the Gungrave franchise at this point. The anime is fabulous. Half of it's not even about the big monster cowboy stuff. It's about the main character Brandon joining this organisation, this crime organisation, is working his way up with his friends, and how his life changes as things progress, and you kind of take these big, 5-10 year jumps between episodes sometimes, so you learn who these guys are before you then everything goes to shit and it becomes monster time, but you know more about them and it becomes more personal because you've seen them before, and then you're upset when he kills them. Gungrave's good. The soundtrack's incredible. Gungrave anime is very, very, very good. Please go watch it, everybody. Please, please, do me a favour. Go watch the Gungrave anime. I promise you it's good. I promise you. And the soundtrack is impeccable. Impeccable. Cowboy Bebop level good. Don't even.
Makes me happy.
It's very good. So Gungrave for me, it's a big personal favourite. Like, I've loved that series. You know, I bought the fucking cowboy hat. Like, when I was still at uni, when I was 19, I was like, I'll buy that. That's a thing that people do, right? I'll buy myself a Gungrave hat.
Who needs to eat?
Yeah, exactly. Legit. Like, it was like 50 quid. Like, it was not cheap. But I was like, no, I want it. And it turned up the same day that the first Guitar Hero game turned up. So the rule was, if you were playing Guitar Hero, because I only had one guitar, you had to wear the hat when you were playing. Like, that was part of it. But we're getting away. So Gungrave kind of, I still love it, but I knew it kind of went away. I had this little sort of small following online, but it kind of went away for a while. And then about 3 years ago, they announced the VR game, and I was like, yeah, whatever, doesn't look very good. And I was kind of a bit like, that looks terrible. I purchased that this year. It's alright. It's okay. It's not good.
Gave you your fix.
A bit, yeah. And it's quite nice seeing it all in VR, and like, I don't think it needed particularly to be VR, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think it could have been a game on its own right. But, just seeing Beyond the Grave running around shooting shit again and, doing cool flips and diving through the air and hitting that square button. And it's all right. It's okay. I've not got even halfway through it yet because setting up the VR has been difficult the last 6 months, let's be fair.
Yeah, I can see that.
Getting all the cables out and finding the time to do it. As well. I've maybe played with the VR headset 3 times. In the last 6 months, so I've not really had time. But when I have been, it's like, well, of course I'm playing Everybody's Golf because that game's amazing in VR, and you can kiss the golf caddies by leaning in. They don't really kiss, but you're like, just got to get my quick golf kiss, and now I can do my golf. So I played that, and thought, that's fine, it's gone. And then, a few months ago, they announced Gungrave Gore. What a great name for a game.
True.
Gore, G-O-R-E, bullet points, big capital letters, G, period, O, period, R, period, E. Yes! Gore! And the first trailer, which had in it my favourite character, Bunji Kugashira, who's my favourite guy, who was a mobster guy. He was a hitman that joined the mafia team with him, and him and Brandon Heat, who becomes We're on the Grave, kind of worked up through the organisation together, and they were like best friends almost, nearly. The way he holds himself, that kind of cool, detached way. I saw a note in the design book, which I picked up years ago, which is Bunji holds his guns really loosely. Like, they're not, like, he's not gripping, he's not thinking. He's calm, he's collected. He holds his guns in a loose grip, and that stayed with me. And you can see it. When he holds his guns up, he's not clenching, his fists aren't, his knuckles aren't big. He's just holding his gun, because it's a tool to do his job. To see my boy back, and then Beyond the Grave gets up, my boy back. Like, and it looks like they're really going for it as well. And it's a proper sequel. The VR game is okay, but this is a proper sequel. Oh, I'm excited. My boy is back. In the year of our Lord 2020, I'm getting an actual sequel to Gungrave.
It's a
yes!
thing when you get something and it follows through as well. It's not like I wish he hadn't done that.
Oh, it looks like they're going to do a good... Like, please do a good job. And then, when you're finished, if somebody could maybe buy the Soul Reaver IP and do something with that, please?
Have you seen that something's happening?
Yeah?
The people behind it are doing a game that's coming out soon. I saw a trailer for it recently. It's going to be free to play.
Not the Nosgoth thing.
No. I think
that looks bad.
I don't know what it's called. Dennis Dyack is working on it.
I'm Googling it now. This is good podcast. I got nothing. Fuck it. We'll look it up later. I can't have this emotion now.
I saw a trailer a while ago and I was like, Paddy will have seen that. Of course he'll have seen it.
No.
But I'll find it for you though.
Cool. Let me know and then watch me just burst.
Yes, I will do. Let me see if I can... What?
This is great podcast. I don't want to edit, so I'm just going to keep talking.
Don't do it.
Dead
House Sonata.
What? What?
Hold on. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Thanks for bearing with us, lovely public.
Oh, I've just googled it. It's fine. Oh, that's a thing. That's not Soul Reaver, is it?
Spiritual successor to.
Oh, okay.
Still, it's free to play, so it's not going to cost you to have a pop at it.
True. True. I expect to play it and be upset that it's not got my special no chin boy.
There we go. Well,
But
I did
still,
my best.
You tried. Okay. Okay. Expectations lowered.
Right.
Cool. Good. Yeah. Bring back PS2 games that were good, please. For me, please. 2020 PS2. Thanks. Next category, friend.
Best book.
Oh, best book. Okay, I'll go first in this one. My best book this year is unexpected. I didn't expect this book to be best book, but it was. See, I read a lot of manga and I read a lot of fantasy books, mostly. We got the new Joe Abercrombie book this year called Little Hatred, which was really good, continuing on the story of his first Law series, which is one of my personal favourites. Joe Abercrombie is probably my favourite living author at the moment. I like every book he's done. He writes Bastards, I like that. I tried a book called The Grey Bastards by a guy called Jonathan French. It was his first novel about, imagine if Sons of Anarchy was about orcs. And it's alright. It's okay. I really enjoyed it. It took me a while to get into it. Once I was there, I'm right in, and there's more books coming out, which I'm very excited to read now. I read the final book of the Dwarves series this year as well, which is just a really, really good series that I just like reading because those books are great. And turns out they made a board game, which I now have, and it's very good. So I read a lot of my fantasy books like that. I read a lot of manga as well. So I went through all of a man called Bucky this year, which is like a fighting manga about imagine UFC, but it's like a tournament under a secret arena where the best fighters from around the world come to fight each other, and it's just real good. Lots of good fights that go on for 40 episodes of this manga. Really good. I reread through a favourite Kami-sama no Itoru, As the Gods Will, the thing we've talked about a bit about dev games. Fucking great manga. The manga's really good as well. Banged through that. I banged through another couple of things that I like that. I read a lot of Battle Royale stuff this year as well. Battle Royale, in fact, one of the things I read this year. I never read it and I thought it was really good. But the best thing I've read this year, which is completely not in my wheelhouse normally, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I thought you were going to lean into Dune.
Nope, I've read Dune, and I read Dune a couple of years ago, and I got through it, but...
No, this is me getting mixed up. It was 2001 that you were reading in the run-up to Violet being born, right?
It was, yeah. I don't know if Dune would have led to a good time. I've read Dune, and I wasn't a big fan. I just got mixed up in my own head. No, you were right in a roundabout way. So I've had it for ages. I picked them up from... I think we had a load of sci-fi books coming to work a while ago. I was like, oh, I'll have a few of those. Yeah, go on then. I picked up a few things. I picked up, I think, the first three of these: 2001, 2010 Odyssey 2, and 2050 Odyssey 3. Should have picked up 3001 while I was there, but didn't decide to because I'm an idiot. So I don't know what it was. The mood just took me. Mid-November, I was just like, I could read that. That's a small-ish book. It's not massive, I'm in the mood for this right now. I could read something about space. I'll read this, And I watched the film once, about a decade ago, with Laura, and didn't quite click with it. We didn't quite get it at the time. Maybe that's just down to our, tastes change and things. But at the time, we kind of I didn't say we writ it off, but we didn't get the hype. It's fine, but I don't get why that's one of the greatest films ever. Being able to appreciate things like that now, I think I'd be probably better watching it for the first time now than I was back then, because, I think even as far as 10 years ago, oh, the graphics are amazing. Oh, look at the colours. Oh, look at the good graphics. Oh, these graphics aren't very good. That's not me anymore. I don't care about that. I'd rather watch a good story now. And I think if I watched the film now, I'd appreciate it a hell of a lot more. But I burned through 2001 in about 2 days. Which for me is pretty quick these days, because I kind of mostly read in the evenings or in the bath or honestly on the toilet. So to be able to get through it in 2 days was crazy. I burned through it, loved every single page. Whatever disconnect I'd have from the film was not present here. It was all laid out. I was able to read through the book at my own pace, understand it. I think for us, the film pivots when Dave Bowman, the main character, goes through the magic monolith hole. That's when me and Laura stopped understanding what was quite happening. Whereas in the book, I was able to follow it. I know what's happening here. I see. And the stuff with how the computer going crazy. Yeah, it's been done to death now. But, even for the original, you can see the seeds of why it was so important back then. Why these events and why this sort of book/film which apparently was written and made in parallel. Like, Isaac Clarke was writing the book. Sorry, Arthur C. Clarke. Oh my god, I keep doing that. Isaac Clarke was the guy from Dead Space.
This is true.
Every freaking time. Arthur C. Clarke was writing the book with Stanley Kubrick, because Stanley Kubrick said, hey, let's make the good sci-fi film. And they wrote the book together. And in the sequels, he actually changed some aspects in the book. In the book, they go to Saturn. In the film, they go to Jupiter. And in the books, second and third books, it's Jupiter that they went to. Because he preferred it. It's actually, it made a bit more sense. And I took some ideas out of that and changed a few things in the book. And they actually address that. He addresses it at the start of the book. Says, yeah, some of this isn't going to be the same as the first book, but it's better. So this is what we're going with. And that's kind of cool for him to go, no, my book's the one. It's like, no, actually, this was better. No, this was good. In a very roundabout way, like you were telling me about the writer of Psychopaths, who another guy came to him with a better idea for season 2. He's like, no, that's better than what I've done. You do yours.
Yeah, they were. As far as I'm aware, they were in kind of a bar having a meal and stuff. And yeah, I like Arabuchi anyway. But for somebody with that little ego to go like, yeah, you do this one. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, there's shades of that at the start in the author's note at the start of the second book, which is just nice. Like, oh, that's just good. Yeah, the book's fantastic. I'm not going to talk about what happens in the book. Just go read it. It's really, really good. I would say if you've not watched the film, read it more, because I would much rather have watched that film now after reading the book. I think I'd appreciate it a hell of a lot more. I've been planning to watch it actually this month, and I just haven't had time to squeeze it in. I've then finished the book, picked up the second one. That's around the time we were going into the hospital. So I took Odyssey 2 and Odyssey 3 with me, and was reading those books at the hospital while we were waiting for Violet to turn up, which was surreal, reading these big space books while we were sat there with hearing people going every kind of 5 minutes or so. Like, this is a strange experience, but it kind of takes your brain off of it a bit. And Laura was sleeping for some of it as well, so I was just sitting there quietly reading, which was just nice to veg out and really drift into something. I have an Eye of Judgment card I've been using as a bookmark for a long time. Eye of Judgment being the PlayStation 3 game that uses the PlayStation Eye, that comes with a set of cards, and you play them down on the deck with the eye looking down. It summons the cards into the game. So basically you're playing like Yu-Gi-Oh's, but on your telly, and it's really, really clever, really good game. No other person I've ever spoken to has had it or played it or knows it. Everyone I've got to play it with me says, "Oh, that's really good." That, so yes, it is. Find a copy, buy it, and then we'll play. Like, please, the online got shut down years ago, but my god, we played the shit out of it. We still get this game out every now and again for a big run. And I mean, Laura at work, again, we're still on Best Book. We're getting to it. Laura, years ago, she worked at Game, and someone traded in a stack of cards for this game, which you could buy, booster packs and stuff. We're talking this stack was probably, if you laid them end on end, probably, 8 inches high? And Game didn't offer any money for them at the time. Like, we don't have them on our system. The guy's like, all right, just keep them then, fine. And Laura's like, okay, guess we're having these then. So, yeah, we have mountains of cards now. We still only use the pre-made decks because we think they're better, and we're not very good at making decks ourselves. But it did mean we have a lot of extras of the cards. And one of the cards that comes up is a card called Fishers of Gohigli. And when you play it, a wizard comes out and goes, "Fishers of Gohigli!" And you use it like every episode. It turns over like a field from like fire to war. It'll change something on the deck. And we just like it. Again, we'll still shout things from the game at each other every now and again. And I was using one of those cards as a bookmark for ages. I put this card has been through everything I've read this year. Like, it's gone through everything. And it kind of felt right that, when we were there and the baby was coming, I was about halfway through Odyssey 3 and baby's coming. Like, it's time. Baby's here. So we're getting ready to go in. They said, right, leave everything behind you. Leave your phone behind you. Just bring your camera, bring your nappy. I was like, okay, right, got the camera, got the nappy. I looked down at a book and I thought, taking that with me. So I grab the card out of the book and I tuck it into my little pocket on the side. Because again, it's a very personal thing for me and Laura. Like, Eye of Judgment is ours. Like, it's our game. It's, in a way, it's our baby. Like, we love that game and nobody else seems to. It's our thing, the thing that we seem to share. I thought, I'd like to bring that through. I'll tell her later. I'll bring that through. So I tuck it in my little pocket and we head in for the birth, which again, we'll talk about at a later date. But this card was 3 feet away when Violet was born.
Oh.
And we go back, and I carry on reading the book, and I take my card back out, and I go through there. And I said, right, well, there's one more book. I know there's one more book. So we joined the library a few days later. I ordered 3001 from the library. Took this card through that book. Again, I used it as a bookmark through the book. And when I finished, we have framed it, and it's in our corridor now with some of the baby pictures, with no context. Doesn't say anything. It's just a card on the wall that me and Laura know what it means, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a roundabout way of why 2001 became my special, my favourite book, because I read that series very closely with the birth of Violet. I mean, a lot of things this year relate to her. But yeah, it's the one I'm going to remember, because that's what I was reading when she was born. Like, that's what I'll remember.
Cool.
Yeah, best book.
Rawr.
I'm going to pass the baton to your hands.
Thank you. I mean, it's weird to try and break this down, because all I've read this year is Haruki Murakami. IQ84, I think, was my favourite book of last year, and I still think about that book regularly. But yeah, in terms of Murakami, it's hard to separate the work in terms of favourites, because I've read consistently one author all year, but he speaks to me in a way that no other ever has, and it changes the way I think about the world. And when I think about books from the last year, there are just constant moments in all of them that have really affected me and stayed with me and stuff. I'd say the one that hit home the most, maybe, like, my first thought was a book called Colorless Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage. Which is about, it says, Suzukuru Tazaki had 4 best friends at school. By chance, all of their names contained a colour. The 2 boys were called Akamatsu, meaning red pine, and Umi, blue sea, while the girls' names were Shirane, white root, and Korono, black field. Tazaki was the only name with no colour in it. One day, Tazaki's friends announced they didn't want to see him or talk to him ever again. Since that day, Sukuru has been floating through life, unable to form intimate connections with anyone. But then he meets Saru, who tells him the time has come to find out what happened all those years ago. That was phenomenal. I loved it to pieces. There was... I found a Murakami novel I didn't like, which was Wild Sheep Chase, which is a loose prequel to Dance, 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 which I absolutely loved. And I read Dance, Dance, Dance first, and I thought it was fantastic. And Dance, Dance, Dance was, according to Amazon, high-class call girls billed to MasterCard, a psychic 13-year-old dropout with a passion for the talking heads, a hunky matinee idol doomed to play dentists and teachers, a one-armed beach-combing poet, an uptight hotel clerk, and one very bemused narrator caught in the web of advanced capitalist mayhem, which covers quite a lot of it, but that was amazing. You sent me After the Quake. I really wasn't sure how I would feel about Murakami's short stories after reading so much of his long-form work, but they're fantastic and equally affecting. Nice. So After the Quake says, for the characters in After the Quake, the Kobe earthquake is an echo from the past they buried long ago. Satsuki has spent 30 years hating one man. Did her desire for revenge cause the earthquake? Miyake left his family in Kobe to make midnight bonfires on a beach hundreds of miles away. 14-year-old Sala has nightmares that the earthquake man is trying to stuff her inside a little box. Ooh. Katagiri returns home to find a giant frog in his apartment on a mission to save Tokyo from a massive burrowing worm. When he gets angry, he causes earthquakes, says the frog, and right now he's very, very angry. So, they were a great collection of short stories, which I thought was cool. And I'll chuck into this sort of Men Without Women, which it says, across 7 tales, Haruki Murakami brings his powers of observation to bear on the lives of men who in their own ways find themselves alone. Here are vanishing cats and smoky bars, lonely hearts and mysterious women, baseball and the Beatles, woven together to tell stories that speak to us all. So, honestly, it's hard to break one of those down, because I've just devoured Murakami all year, and every one of them's just got a little spark of something that just plain moves me and changes my world. So also I have sneaked a couple of Murakami Easter eggs in a couple of future songs, so that makes me happy as well.
Hey. And you have my promise that whenever I see his name in my bookshelves, I'll pull them off.
Cool.
So I saw if you're like, CJ Bookman. Grab.
Well, this is a year where I'd been trying to get the American covers of his books, and I ordered from the same bookshop that normally sends the American covers to find out the American covers have been replaced with new ones that aren't as good. And despite the old covers being on the listing, they were sending out the new covers. So I then realised that I've just got now a scattershot collection, and I should embrace that. So your books have still fitted into that because they mean a lot, and I love the fact that you thought of me and bung them over because I still super enjoyed them. So
anytime. Yeah.
So back to best telly.
After you.
You sly old monkey. It's, to me this year, I've seen some really great stuff. Signal was amazing, which I don't think I've had a chance to talk about on the podcast, but Signal is on Netflix and is a Korean drama about it's a police procedural about unsolved cases.
Okay.
And a modern day detective who is leaving work and finds an old walkie-talkie that allows him to talk to a detective in the 90s. And they start trying to solve these unsolved cases.
That's cool.
It's amazing. The acting is through the roof. There are huge consequences for the things that happen, and there's so much momentum to it, and it tore me apart. And if for the people who watched Kingdom on Netflix, which was the period zombie drama,
you telling me? Yeah.
Which was phenomenal. It's the same writer and director. But Signal was amazing. So that one was a great one, but I can't go away from Kamen Rider 01 for reasons that, yes, it's a phenomenal Kamen Rider year, which is always like super good fun, but it's probably like you and I's sort of focal point for chatting every week, and it's a thing that we look forward to, and with one or the other sending 0101 on DM, and it's been a pleasure to share it with you, for you to see the things that I've seen in these shows and within the ambition and the scope and the humour, the emotions, the depth, the risks that they take, the ambition, the weirdness, and you see things that I don't, and I see things that you don't, and like that bounce back and forth has been really like tons and tons of fun, and has made it a really, really special year for sharing this stuff. Plus, the show is outstanding, and so yeah, that's my two pennants in that regard.
Well, I'm going to cut in here and say, me too. This is the most obvious one of the whole show. Like, this is the one I wrote down like first because it was obvious. To a point where I even considered, like, I know we've mentioned it briefly, like, do we do a separate telly and anime one? Because I watched some good anime this year as well, but it's like, is that getting too into it? Like, I mean, we watched a lot of, I'll be honest, a lot of trash this year, but like, trash with heart. Like, we watched Magical Senpai, which is that really just bad show about like a magician's club at a school. Okay. And it's like just little short 3-minute vignettes, but they're really funny. Like, in the same way that Konosuba is like funny. Not anime funny, just funny. And it's okay. I watched Hunter x Hunter this year, which I really enjoyed. Actually, I didn't expect to love it. And at one point, me and Laura both very, very upset on the sofa watching this show about magical punch boys. And this evil ant guy who's stronger than anyone. And I look around, Laura's in bits next to me, like, oh, okay. Oh, it's happened again, hasn't it? But yeah, the obvious answer is it's 01. Of course, it's Kamen Rider 01. And I'm to kind of touch on what you said, the fact that we've been able to share it and like every episode, because you sent it was on our Divi show, wasn't it, where you sent me one and I sent you one.
Yeah,
that was like one episode in, wasn't it? It only just started, right?
It was just the first episode. And you had a lot of fun with that first episode. But if you could say sort of what you've really felt as it evolved, because in a very Twin Humanities kind of way, it's fun to see you discovering this stuff for the first time. Because as far as I'm concerned, they do these spontaneous miracles on a budget of nothing.
Yeah, how? I'm watching it and I'm like, how? How did you do this?
It's insane. I'm 48 episodes a year plus movies.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But
Ridiculous.
yeah, so I'm curious to know sort of where your headspace has been sort of thereafter, and the things that that's super clicked with you. And
do you know what I think it is? I think it's like the heart it's got. Like it's not just about the big fights with the Kamen Riders and the humour gears that have gone mental. Like it's about the characters and the problems they have and the way they work through them and the way the cast sort of bounce off of each other. They're all really good. I want all of them to succeed, even the villains.
Yeah,
I even like the bad guys. I want them to do well.
To do a wee bit of a step back, like the plot for Kamen Rider 01, Japan has entered a new era of technological innovations as Hayden Intelligence, the leading company in artificial intelligence research, develops human-like androids called Humagears, which quickly become a staple in both public and private sectors. However, a cyber-terrorist organisation known as Metsubojinrai.net...
and you will think, everyone listening, if you watch this, you'll never remember that.
Yeah.
In one episode, you know that. Metsubojinrai.
Metsubojinrai.net starts hacking into Humagears, transforming them into monsters called Magias, and turning them against humanity. The government responds by establishing the Artificial Intelligence Military Service, or AIMS, to destroy them. The story primarily follows Aruto Hayden, a young man with aspirations of becoming a comedian, who suddenly finds himself appointed the new CEO of Hayden Intelligence after his grandfather's death. Despite his initial disinterest, Aruto changes his mind after witnessing Metsubojinrai.net's terrorist attacks firsthand, maintaining appearances as CEO whilst becoming Kamen Rider 01 to realise his late father's wish for a peaceful coexistence between humans and Humagears. This places him in an uneasy alliance with AIMS operatives Fua and Yaiba, who can transform into Kamen Rider Vulcan and Kamen Rider Valkyrie respectively, against Metsubojinrai.net, led by the rogue Humagears Hirobi and Jin, who can also transform into Kamen Riders. All the while, Guy Amaterasu, the CEO of Hayden's corporate rival Zaya Enterprise, watches their battles from afar and moves forward with his own agenda. Following Metsubojinrai.net's downfall, he develops his own rider system and becomes Kamen Rider Thouser to challenge Aruto for technological supremacy. How much were you grinning throughout that?
All of that.
Yeah. But
when you said Zaya, I remember that when he transforms into Kamen Rider Thouser, once he's finished, it says a little "presented by Zaya" at the end that kills me. Every single time I die because it's like, that's such a good idea.
That's a skim across the plot, and episode 19 came out today. So we're almost halfway through the series. And yet, one of my favourite things about it is they seem to drop these little bits of foreshadowing that you kind of think, they're going to pick up on that later, but they sort it 2 minutes later.
Yeah, the pace of things. So the thing that I think turned it round, or the thing that made me think, actually, this show's not messing about. So, episode 1, Aruto gets his 01 driver, becomes Kamen Rider 01. It's like, oh god, okay, got to get it off, hide.
A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
Oh. But by episode, I think it was 3, he's just revealed himself to the Ames guys. Like, yeah, by the way, this is me. I'm the guy with the orange. I'm the Hopper guy. That's me.
And
like,
you were in
other
the back of your
shows
head,
would
you were like
piss
episode 33, episode 40.
Other shows would piss about with that for 2 seasons. Like, he's like, nah, let's just get it out there. This is me. We're going to help each other. Yo, what's up? Like, okay.
You've got episode 1 with, you're introduced to Arata. Episode 2, Fua, and the amazing transformation into Vulcan, where he fires a bullet out of his gun. The bullet comes back. He punches the bullet, and it forms armor around him.
It's so good. Bullet!
And then we got Valkyrie the next episode, which was really fantastic with her superb getting the cartridge and it just twirling around in her hand as she's bringing her hand back.
When you press the button on your transforming thing and it goes like dash, it's very cool.
But even when like the new powers kick in, and most weeks there will be kind of a new variation or a new power or something will happen to somebody. There's this moment of like, oh, what's that? Oh my god! Ooh! Or
they'll cut the episode at the end like, no, I want to see him do a thing in that now.
Yeah, you genuinely get excited for the next episodes. And the way that it evolves, I think there was an episode early on with a young kid whose father was to blame for the original outbreak of the Humagears, and the reason that a lot of people don't trust them, including Fua.
And the whole city's been written off because of the problem. Everything got fucked.
And this lad's father had been blamed, and they kind of go into this old sort of world, this old factory to try and find out what happened. And that was the first real jaw drop of an episode. Plus, it introduced us to your favourite transformation for Fua, which was punching Kong.
Enough power to annihilate a mountain.
You see, I love it when they drop those little robot voices when they transform. It genuinely makes me giddy. And when there's a new one and you hear the line attached to it, it's just glorious.
Everything is good. I think my favourite one of those at the moment is the Shining Hopper, which is, where I shine, darkness fades. It's got so much sass. You're like, oh, we're on.
Although I'm super into the transformation of Kamen Rider Thouser at the minute, with the when
the five horns clash, the Golden Soldier Thouser is born,
and you see sort of all the sort of robotic animals like moving around him, and then all the horns like slotting into like his helmet at the top. Fucking belter! Plus,
very, very cool.
Plus, it does this thing whereby it is a very funny show. And the cast can play things for laughs, but they can also play serious when it needs to. And the tone is all over the place, and I say that in the best way possible, because I love that. If you make me laugh with a character, and you make me sad with a character, if there's a point where I need to cry with a character, my heart will burst for them. And there's been points in this where I have blubbed and blubbed and blubbed because you made me care about these characters, not by making them just one thing. And you know they can talk to the camera, or they can do sort of funny gags, or they can do sped up camera movements, or they can be comedic scenes. But there's also stuff which is really deep within that, and there'll be great stories in there, and there'll be things that make you think, and you care amongst all of that, and the tone can be all over the place in an episode, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because it just seems like people are having fun and are trying to do the level best at everything that they do, and the action sequences are just astonishing.
It should be said that this sort of the lower, not lower intense, like the more personal stuff that's happening is happening between a satellite coming down from orbit, turning into a giant mammoth robot, and then attaching giant transformation keys to its fists and punching things with them.
Yeah, we've spoken about personally as well that the way that the momentum of the series seems to have ties to the way that we both love Gurren Lagann. The fact that it's never really settling. It's constantly like trying to better itself, but and go madder and madder. But at the same time, there's a depth to it, and it knows how to do emotion really well. And even, as you were saying earlier, even the villains are great. I mean, we've Hirobi's coming into his own at the moment. Jin was absolutely fantastic, who was seemingly dealing with a sense of self, and not in a normal, I'm a robot and I've become sentient, or I've evolved. He's questioning a sense of family and what it is to be a brother to somebody or a son to somebody. And when he turned up in battles early on, particularly, there'd be this real playfulness about him, like he was going out to play with his friends, which was fascinating. And I genuinely love that about it, that it's not just going like, these bad guys are really bad, because everybody's got an agenda, and all of them seem to be quite valid if you focus in on them.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I cannot add more. That is perfect. Do you know what? Even when I think the show has a slower episode, the last couple we've just watched, even when that wasn't quite as big as the last one, it pays off. The next episode,
it paid off in the next one. Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Today's episode is another one that's going to pay off next week. But there's a lot of it. The latest episode starts off really quite funny, but gets into a place which actually really quite disturbing and quite horrific for the things that it deals with and the questions that it puts out there. But I'd also add, from somebody that grew up loving comics, between the deeper dark stuff of 2000 AD to DC and Marvel stuff, that they seem to be making a family show here. That whilst adults can still love it for its ambition and things that it does, it's not writing for 40-year-olds. And if you are an 8-year-old watching this, you're just going to go, oh my God, look at the fights, look at this, it's really cool, it's really funny. And I like the fact that its focus is the adults that are making this show are making it for them and children. And it's not just they're not just doing the Winter Soldier. And yet all the depth is still there. But and even the lad that plays Aruto, he can do comedy and he can do serious stuff, and he genuinely cares about the people around him. And my God, that episode where you thought that somebody close to him was going to die. My God,
I was angry.
I was so upset.
I see. I get angry when that's like, don't you fucking dare.
But I think because the interactions between them had been so fun and so lively, to suddenly get to the point where it's like a life was on the line was really, really hard to deal with. And I don't know, I just think that these shows kind of have always equalised my world, that I can watch these and just there's a joy about them. And everybody involved with them just seems to be having the greatest time. And that has always come through to me, and there's no other form of entertainment for me that does what these shows do, and I still don't know how they do it on the budget they do it. No idea. And the amount of times the costumes evolve and how many costumes they must have to make to account for like tears and things like that. It's insane, but they look great, and they look weird, and they don't look like they're trying to legitimize the suits and make them real in the modern day. They actually look like action figures.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And I love that.
They are big, bold toys. Like Desert Strike Batman, like just big,
Yes.
chunky shoulders. Like, yes, more of this.
They had one last year on one of Banjo's outfits, which was like a clear plastic, like over the head, and it looked great, like really good. Like the clear plastic was coming up almost like flames above his head, and it was just fantastic, like really really good, but super unusual. And I don't know. It's a
good show.
It's a show I'm proper loving, but super liking sharing as well.
And that intro music.
Yes, could talk about the intro music.
The intro music has infested every fabric of my being. Every time it goes quiet in my head, you'll just hear a very quiet 01010101. Whenever we jumped on to play games together, what was it we were playing? I think it was Desters for a bit before the baby was here. And we turn it on, and while I was waiting for you to log into party chat, I'd become 01010101 as long as I could, and then I'd run out of breath, and it'd be like 0101.
Realize.
So good, such a big intro. Now, have they dropped the full version yet? Has it come out yet?
They've put the music for the series on streaming services, plus the music for the film. I think they've dropped on streaming as well.
I've got to have a full version of Realise. I need it. I need it. I need it.
It's very good indeed. Here we go. I'll drop you this. This was one of Banjo's variations from last year.
There's a web link. I'm clicking it. I'm trying to click it. Please click. Oh, look at that! Oh, you glorious icy plastic dragon boy!
Where would you get that anywhere else? And yet it's like, that's amazing. I love it to pieces.
It's real good.
Yeah. So the shows are a wee bit special for me. Also, when you look at some of these things, I don't know, even some of the weapons, you just go, that must actually be the toy.
Like the big chunky, like you can buy the Progrise driver and the guns and stuff that just look like a big plastic gun. Like,
but even things like Thouser's new sword that can draw the abilities from somebody out. And
then beat them up with them.
My word! The end of the last episode with regards to that. That was super cool. Yeah, in the previous build they had a sword that was essentially like a graphic equalizer, which was great.
That's cool.
And they one sword which was a manga sword had got manga panels going down it, and he could touch the different panels and get a different ability from it, or he could light up the entire sword and essentially be surrounded by copies of himself with those abilities to fight alongside him.
Jeez.
I love that sort of stuff. You never see that anywhere else.
That's good silly. I like that.
Yeah, but you just kind of go, oh, this is great. And it distills you back into that the person that started reading comics, where it was just like big ideas, daftness, seriousness. Just give me the full paint box and leave me so I don't know what to expect, and then shock me.
Even with regards to the paint box thing, just to bring it a bit more superficial than I think you were trying to make the point of, like, all the outfits are really bright and bold and fun looking. Like, they're not just shades of brownish green. They're bright.
You could sit a child in front of this and they just riff on it completely because of the designs. And we're a few months away from the new Super Sentai, which I'm obviously going to share with you as well. And Ultraman's always superb, and those two probably skew a little bit younger maybe, but they're still joyous. They're still great shows. I mean,
here's the worry, because I've been watching 01 with Violet on my lap every now and again. I don't want her to absorb Rider Kick, because I don't want to wake up one night and see the baby golden green like flying through the sky going, I jump to the sky, turns to a Rider Kick.
Oh yes,
and then I get cracked in the mouth.
Oh, because that would be terrible, having Japanese superhero wrestling with your daughter.
Yeah, but like I want it when I'm ready for it.
You're never going to be ready for that.
No, I'm just going to see this.
You are.
foot come out of nowhere and it's going to knock me for 7. Like, oh, okay, cool. Oh no, it happened.
But as much as I, Marvel have taken over the universe and stuff, I can't see. I look at this stuff and I see it as family in the way as Batman the Animated Series was, or that kind of stuff, and it genuinely seems like a family show and superheroes being for kids, whereas Marvel stuff skews older, and I can imagine sitting an 8-year-old in front of 01 and them just loving it to pieces, and sitting them in front of the Winter Soldier and just going like, I mean, Winter Soldier's a great film, but a kid, what?
Or Arrow, or any of the serialized telly shows you get that just aren't fun.
I think you're seeing firsthand exactly what I've always loved with this, and it makes it more special that you're riffing on that too.
Because it's the first one of the new era, it does feel like a fresh start almost. It kind of feels like a good way in, like it's its own. I know it's just all the series are their own thing, and it's probably nothing amazing that it's a new era, I guess, of Japan, isn't it?
Well, they renew themselves every year. It's a different one every year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have warned you that in a couple of years' time there will be the new Kamen Rider who will be in a movie, and there'll be a point where he's losing, and then he runs around a corner and there's a glow of yellow light, and you just hear a jump to the sky turns to a rider kick, and you cry your eyes out in an instant, because these characters feel like family. They genuinely feel like family. And if there's like a year or two where you've not seen Naruto, and then you see him again, my word.
My boy.
It is. It just feels like that, and I can see it in the back of my head again. And it will then sort of cut to that Kamen Rider and 01 like fighting together, and then you'll see the transformation afterwards, and you just see like hi, my name's Naruto, and probably a joke.
Or he'll do a joke and do the Naruto Naito.
But he is kind of a cross between like Bruce Wayne. He's a little bit of the Joker. He's a little bit Spider-Man.
Spider-Man one I can see what you mean there.
There's something great about him, but
he's just a nice lad. He's a nice lad.
You've nailed it.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Good show.
So in agreement,
First
Humanities history, yeah.
First one, which I expected more than that this time, but that's good. Next category.
Last category.
Last? Have we missed one?
No.
So I've got 2 categories left.
What have you got?
I've got film, and I've got replay.
I haven't replayed anything. I didn't think we're doing any of that.
Shall I do that now then?
If you want,
I want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Huh?
I want to talk about the replay I did.
I will chime into the fact that I played Halo Reach for the first time in like about a decade this year, and it's when it got its 4K remaster from Microsoft, and it's still fucking brilliant. The pace of it is insane. It just feels like it's constantly moving you on. Story's superb. You kick through levels in about 10 minutes, but it feels good.
What prompted you to get back into it? Was it just a spur of the moment thing, or
it was?
Have they Xbox One patched it?
Yeah, they 1X'd it and gave it a complete 4K remaster. If you own the Master Chief Collection, they gave it you free. If you don't, I think it was, and this is a full 4K remaster, right? In running 60 frames per second. I think it's about £5.60 if you don't own it.
It's nothing.
4K remaster, and it looks lovely. But yeah, Reach has always been a favourite of mine because it's the storytelling is really strong, where you know that the planet is going to detonate. You know the good guys lose essentially, and the start of the game shows a cracked helmet on the floor as kind of the planet starts to get blown up, and then you see that helmet get picked up and you put it on, so you know you're going to die from the start. and as it's the first contact with the Covenant as well, so it's set long before the Halo games start, and you've got this group of characters that are there to try and find out what's going on, and one by one those characters fall until it's just you left at the end, and it's astonishing. Storytelling is through the roof, and to say that Master Chief is the focal point for these games. Reach and ODST are still my favourite Halo games, and none of them feature Master Chief. It's just special, really, really special. So,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. There's a replay. Cool. I nearly didn't choose a replay because I didn't do much this year. I was kind of this year. I wanted to play new stuff or stuff I haven't played before. I didn't even do my customary once a year rerun of Metal Gear Solid 1, which is normal for me, but I just didn't get to it this year. So the replay I did this year is the Uncharted series.
Yes, you did.
1, 2, 3, and 4, which kind of slightly ticked over to the start of this year, but fuck it.
It's a year since the last one, so that's fine.
I started playing Uncharted 4 in 2019. It counts. In a way, my way in was Death Stranding. And I don't want to get too into it because we don't deal in bummers. But I didn't get on with Death Stranding. I'm deeply, deeply disappointed with it, and I just didn't. I couldn't find a way in with it. It wasn't for me at the time. I was getting annoyed with it, and I felt like I needed to shift gears a bit. And with
pun.
that not on purpose.
I know. That's why it was important for me to point it out.
I mean, yeah, that was what I wrote down. I've actually written in my notes and didn't make the connection either. Good lord, my brain is not there anymore. I need Violet to grow up because I want my brain back. With Madam close, nearly on the way. I wanted to play something that felt kind of like familiar, like fun. Like, you just want to have this, don't you put on an action film? Like, I just want to watch something fun for a bit. Like, I just want to watch an Indiana Jones film.
Yeah.
I just want to laugh. And, what better game for that than Uncharted? I've played 1 and 2 to death. I've only played 3 and 4 once, and it kind of felt like it's time for a revisit. I wanted to go back through his other 2 games, because particularly 3 and 4, but I thought, I'll go through 1 and 2 as well, because I love those games as well. And, like Indiana Jones, they are, just fun. They're big, they're bold. They are the best Indiana Jones games ever made. No question. There's no better example of that sort of, tomb robbing, exploring, chasing down a mystery game. It just put a hat on him and it would be an Indiana Jones game, legit. They're just a fucking delight. They barrel along at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You hit so many environments and so many set pieces and things. And I know that Naughty Dog get shit for sometimes relying on the set pieces, but my god, they can design a set piece. You will start a thing and not realise that it's going to become something halfway through, and before you know it, you're running through a city, shooting blindly backwards at a jeep that's chasing you down a blind alley, trying desperately to stay ahead of it. It's basically the evolution of those running away from the boulder levels in Crash Bandicoot. And once you've made that connection, they're doing a Crash Bandicoot level in this. Shit, yeah! Come on, son! Every one of the games has so many bits that stand out, moments. It's not the kind of you get with open world games. It's often quite hard to pick out that level was good or that bit was good in an open world game. That level, that sequence was good. Uncharted 1 has hundreds. It's got the U-boat in the first game where you find a U-boat in the middle of the jungle, a nuts U-boat. What's that doing here? The Drowned City, where you sort of chase up on the trail of Sir Francis Drake, and you kind of make more friends with Elena. You've got the Vault, where you kind of have to find out where he's hidden El Dorado. The twist near the end, my god,
the twist was great. I love the twist. And the
didn't see it coming.
The weird thing was when I first picked that up, everybody was raving about the second game and saying, "No, this one is the good one. The first one was all right. This one's the good one." And I really enjoyed the first, as is my way. I really enjoyed the first one. I got to Uncharted 2 and was just like, no, I'm not feeling it.
You get like that though, don't you?
I do, yeah. But
no, that turn. I like the twist in Uncharted 1 just starts. There's no there is some stuff going on. What's going on here? And then it just kicks off out and what? Huh? What? What's happening? What? Oh, so good. And it just breakneck pace doesn't let up. I love that. Uncharted 2, I know you bounce off it, but my God, it's a good game as well. You've got the urban warfare of Borneo, where, like I say, you've got this Jeep chasing you through half of it, where you're trying to shoot down and try not to, get crushed by this stupid Jeep. The train level. Oh! The bit that comes after the train level, where you climb up the train level in the snow. Ah! The bit in the mountain when you're trying to explore with your friend Tenzin. Oh, it's very good. Going through Shambhala. Oh, it's very good. Excuse me, that was nearly a burp. But you've got the deepening of the relationship between Nate and Elaine and all the characters. You're starting to see the cracks in the relationships almost, and how they deal with each other. You've got Uncharted 3, which has got the fight in a bar at the start, like an English pub, and shit just kicks off, and you're sort of throwing dudes over like bar tables and smashing their heads against bottles and things, which is really fun. There's the bit where you fall out the back of an airplane, which is great. There's the bit where you're lost in the desert for like 25 minutes. And it's just the pace slows right down and you're just staggering through a desert trying to find water and trying to stay alive. It's really, really good. It's really good, man. It's really good. You've got, a bit more of the history of Nate himself when he was younger, how he met Sully, the relationship they've got, and kind of, again, it builds up again and you kind of get these extra layers of what's going on with the characters. And then I thought, well, Uncharted 4, I've only played it once, I'll try that again. Christ on a bike, Uncharted 4 is a ridiculous game. Like, every time you think, we're probably about halfway through now. Like, the point I thought I was halfway through was a quarter of the way through that game. This game is a massive, like, twice the size, I would say, of any of the other ones. It goes on a lot.
Plus, you've not really clicked with a lot of PlayStation exclusives this year, but
no,
that one
not this
sounds
year.
like a super glom on.
God, it's just, every level is gorgeous. Like, the level of, like, I know that we don't wank on about graphics, but my God, it's pretty. Every time you turn a corner and you see like, oh, this is a huge environment. I can probably go over there, and there, and there, and it's going to be dope. And it is. Uncharted 4 has a level where you're sneaking around in a black market auction, trying to kind of steal something from this auction, which is really, really good, because you get to walk around in a tuxedo for a while. It has a bit where you are in a Jeep, and an armoured car is chasing you through a city, and you are literally driving your car through the whole city, and you can go 100 different ways, and it's enormous. And the level of panic and like, oh god, what's happening? And you've got this kind of constant like discussion going on with Sully in the car with you, like, go up the stairs there. Why? Just do it. Go. And like you hear them shouting and screaming and like yelling for help as they're doing it. It's amazing. You've got a part where you go to Scotland and you're running around a Scottish castle trying to find the grave of Henry Avery, the Pirate King, and, trying to trace that mystery, because the whole thing is you're trying to find, Avery's treasure. That's so different, change of pace to what they normally do, but it's still really good. When you find the pirate city itself, 15 hours later, I don't think I've seen a prettier level in anything ever. It is gorgeous. Every corner you turn, every aspect, it is the level of detail put in. Like, and again, this is like not just like, oh, let's just scatter some shit everywhere. Like, there's different stuff in every room. There is items you can pick up. There is particular like bits of art that have been written on, and there's like stuff that's knocked over. You can kind of trace back things that have happened. It's just, how do you make games like that? How do you do it? I don't get it. And like, while sometimes in these games like the pacing does suffer a little bit sometimes, because mostly it's breakneck, but sometimes it slows down a little bit and you kind of get stuck on a puzzle for a while. Some of the combat, every game's got at least one or two moments when the combat suddenly gets quite hard. And you're like, I don't know quite if I'm doing this right. Like, have I got the right weapon for this? Am I approaching this in the right direction? It feels like I want to be doing this, but this isn't working. Does the game want me to do that instead? Am I supposed to be kind of climbing around a bit more? Or am I supposed to hunker down? Every game's got at least one of these, and they always slows you down. You die 3 or 4 times till you work out, where you need to be going. It's not always particularly obvious. It's not always particularly fair, but once you pass past these bumps in the road, it's basically easy going from that point on. That you can barrel through these games having fun and just, I played through on normal and that felt really good. I've been through the first 2 on crushing in the past, and that is evil, but doable. And much like a one bro, it's I think, yeah, I've done it. I've done it. I can take 2 hits tops, but like this is like, yeah, I've got a bit of room for error. There's still some fuck ups here and there, but the thing that keeps me playing them is it's not necessarily the adventure, it's not necessarily the levels, it's not necessarily the gameplay, which are all very good. It's the characters. Like, every one of them is so, by Uncharted 4 at least, so fully realised, like, so full of personality and charm and, like, humanity. Like, you know, there's a very quiet part of Uncharted 4 in the start where Nate Drake just works a normal job now. And he goes home to Elena and they just have a normal night together. And they argue about who's going to do the dishes. And they say, I'll play for it. And you play, I'm not kidding, Crash Bandicoot. And like, really? Really? Okay. And they shit talk like me and Laura do. You know? And it's nice. And, you know, they can be human and they make mistakes, like huge mistakes with each other. You know, with his brother as well, Sam, that he meets for this game, and Sully, they fuck up a lot to the point where you think it might really be over for some of them. Like, they might be done with each other, but it gives them a chance to redeem each other, and it's each other that, you know, it's the people they love that redeem them. And that come together and, like, go, no, you know, we are a unit, we are together. You fucked up, but you did it for the right reasons, and we're not going to let you keep your dick out in the wind here. We're going to back you up and we're going to help you. You know, end of the day, you know, you look out for the ones you love, and it's a really good message. Even if they're doing something stupid, you look after the people. You know, it's huge, man. So good. And I've still got to play Lost Legacy. I haven't got to that yet, which is the game starring Chloe Fraser.
I hear good things.
And yeah, I hear good things, and I will be getting to it very soon. Apparently, it's going to be DLC, and the scope of it got so big it became a game by its own. And I'm very excited to get to that at some point, as and when I can grab it from somewhere. But yeah, no, these games are really good, and running through 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order, just so good. I needed it. I needed something fun, something familiar, but something that had a punch in it. And it's like watching your favourite show, like playing your favourite thing. I wouldn't say Uncharted series is my favourite series of games, but for a rerun, my God. Yeah. My God.
Top banana.
Top banana, mate. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it was important at the end of this year. I needed something I could do that I could, firstly, fucking pause, and secondly, wouldn't drive me crazy. And I'm glad I found it.
Yeah.
Hurrah!
Hurrah for you.
So next category.
Yes, the last one is favourite film.
Would you like to go first, or shall
I? You can go first if you wish.
Okay. The first 3 words I've written in my notes here. Just going to read them out.
Okay.
CJ, you fuck.
Yay! Is the title of the film also 3 words?
Might be.
Twin Humanities history times 2 in the same episode.
We did it. The Wandering Earth. Yay! We said it at the same time, so we can't even pretend that we didn't do it. Like, oh yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Go for it.
It's not Iron Man 2. Shit.
To give people a clue up if they don't remember the episode, because we did talk about this, I believe. In the year 2061, the aging sun is about to turn into a red giant and threaten to engulf the Earth's orbit within 300 years, forcing the nations of the world to consolidate into the United Earth Government to initiate a project to migrate the Earth out of the solar system to the Alpha Centauri system 4.2 light years away in order to preserve further human civilization. Enormous planetary thrusters running on fusion power, known as the Earth engines, are built across the planet to propel the Earth. Human population is reduced severely due to catastrophic tsunamis that occur after the Earth's rotation is made to stop. And later, as the planet moves away from the sun, much of the surface is frozen, forcing the remaining humans to live in vast underground cities built adjacent to the engines.
And that is covered in the first 3 minutes of the film.
100%.
Like, it doesn't spend ages doing that. It's like, right, this has happened, let's get to the film now.
And there are little nuances and subtleties within that as well, with the Earth's population being reduced. As in, these underground cities don't have And this is going to be more resonant for you now, I think, that they don't have room for both parents. So one of the parents has to opt to die, and the other one raised them alone in the underground city. Right. When you watched this, that was one of those things where you went like, "Oh my god, that's really severe."
Like, that's really bad. That sucks.
But can you imagine now having that conversation with Laura
and having the noises I was making,
and having potentially to say goodbye to Violet? Because
don't say those words. That's horrible.
But you know what I mean.
I'm gonna cry.
At the time, it was like, Christ, that's severe. But at the point that you're at now, I'd imagine it would probably be an even more emotional watch.
No, don't do that. Because you're the one who has the emotional moments on the podcast, not me. Don't do me like this.
The film is...
It sucks!
The film is spectacular. There's so much hope and bravado in there. It's incredibly well shot. Some of the special effects do look a bit computer graphicsy, and other ones just look flat out jaw-dropping. The whole thing is just... It's got so much heart and bravado, but it's such an amazing watch. And it just... again, it's that Gurren Lagann aspect that it just keeps topping itself. All the vehicles feel tangible. The insides of them are built
like bins,
strapped
with bits of metal and toasters that somehow have become drivable vehicles that look like the sort of thing that you would see in, here we go again, 2000 AD. Big, chunky, dirty future.
The city looks like it's going on regardless of following the characters that are there. I really like the characters as they evolve. There are certain characters that you think would be sort of quite flaky, and they're set up to that, but they're not.
Every single character is good, and every single one gets their own like they get their moment. They get their "Go on, son" moment.
And there are some real punch the air moments towards the end with, everybody coming together, and it's still, at all points, it still looks like they're going to fail, and that's what I love about it. Also, to plug into another Paddy thing, Thunderbirds. It's got a real live-action Thunderbirds feel to it in many ways.
That.
But because
do you know why I think it's cool? Do you know why I think this film's cool? Because sometimes you watch a film, like a big action film, and it's cool because, look at the cool thing, the main character, they did a cool flip, and they shot the gun really well, and they took that perfect shot, and they just, they clutched it at the end. This isn't cool because of that. It's not cool because of the cool stunts that the main characters do. It's cool because of the cool ideas and the plans they concoct to unfuck everything.
Yes.
They're not doing, freaking parkour backflips at any point. They're just people.
Yeah, and
trying stuff and having it not work, and then trying something else and trying everything they bloody can to unfuck things.
But then the film goes, fuck you, here's an extra fuck, and you go, oh, that's a big fuck, we're super fuck now. But people start trying to figure shit out, and it's great.
And everyone comes together, and it's amazing.
Also,
and they're all, no character is the bitch, they're all good.
There are great moments in it individually and as a collective. All of the suits and the inside of the vehicles and stuff are wet to workshop. But can I remind you of that moment where they're trying to shoot their way out of a building that's frozen with a Gatling gun that's built into the backpack of one of the people? And it just goes on for about 5 minutes trying to get through the ice. And you're just seeing like... just it's, and you just go, well done.
I think my favourite one that stands out, the one moment of all the things that stands out is a bit from the trailer of the guy with the Gatling backpack. In fact, when shit's got really bad, pointing the Gatling at Jupiter, firing it off, yelling "Fuck you, Jupiter."
It's a good line. Can we sort of say, because it is a Chinese movie? I loved the comedy relief. Was it Tim? The Australian lad?
Australian kid, yeah.
His name's Tim. He's brilliant. He still has his payoff in the end.
100%. Everyone does. And I would say, good lord, watch it with subtitles, people. Please.
Yeah.
The American voices are so bad.
But there's also the thing that partway through the film, you actually see somebody who's genuinely had a breakdown. And rather than just discard them as a character that's just there for an instance and then not, or somebody who's always that way, when they kind of get them to the senses and when this plan comes together, you actually see that person like change. And the way that they believe in things, that they've come back from a shock. And in many ways, they become the super momentum for getting to where they need to go. So, absolutely fantastic. Plus, the guy who is the main character's dad, who's in space, is brilliant. And apparently, when the film ran into budgetary issues, he just sodded off his own paycheck because he wanted to see it finished.
What a man.
100%. Because, funnily enough, like from what you were saying about like 2001 as well, like there's a 2001 feel to the stuff up in space with the AI.
God, I hadn't made that link.
With the AI that does not want them to defer from what it's been programmed to do, and will shut down channels, and like the way that it speaks to him and stuff. All of that is brilliant.
I've not made that connection. That's really good. Oh, fuck. Do you know, it's so rare that.
And also, they built
the film,
that thing as well. It's not CG on the roof. They built it, and the way it leans in like sort of Portal. Oh.
Go on, son.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Do you know it's really rare that I finish watching the film, I want to immediately press play and watch it again?
Yes, I've watched it 3 times now, and I've been hankering to watch it again. There's something so feel-good about it. Plus, the momentum of the film is really clever, that it genuinely gathers pace as it goes on. It's a slow opening half an hour. But when it sort of really starts to move, it then doesn't stop. And that's incremental, leading right up to the end.
It's a 2-hour film, but it does not feel like that. For me, when I see like a film that's like 2.5 hours long, I'm like, I mean, it's like 9 now. Am I going to be awake enough by the end? I was out of my seat. I literally stood up off the sofa watching this film, like, go on!
And you said Laura loved it as well, didn't she?
Yeah, amazing. Like, she sat there with me, like, ooh, like we were both reacting to it. So good.
And I like the relationship between the lead character and his sister as well. I thought that was really good.
I've recommended this film to people at work. Like, anyone who will listen, anyone who has Netflix, like, please watch it. It's really good. It's a blockbuster, a proper one that you don't really get much of these days. Like, you know, everything's got to be part of a cinematic universe now, isn't it? Well, it was not to wank on about Marvel again, but it's just such a monolith now. And I think the way they make films has informed so much of the action film genre. Like, they've kind of become this thing, whereas this was its own idea.
It felt like it. I mean, I know it was based on a novel, but it felt very novel-like. That everything seemed stupendously vast, and all of the characters trying to make a difference were really tiny parts of what was going on. But you became so invested in them and so invested in their journey. And even towards the end, where the little girl's trying to push that thing into place, and then all those people come in and just like help with her and stuff. And Mark Kermode says that that Schmaltz is fine if it's done properly, and this film did that when it needed to do it. I was smitten with it, and I was made up that you two dug the heck out of it as well.
I didn't see another film even close to it this year.
No, me neither.
Oh. Go on.
So that's it, Rob.
Love it.
So next time we speak to you, we will be doing our top games of the year. Plus, as like a little aside before we do our top 5, we're going to do kind of either the games that were just frittering outside of that, or games that impacted our year that didn't make the top 5.
Stuff we want to talk about, but stuff that didn't necessarily crack the top. Because I mean, we've banged this back and forward, and I've changed my top I had 7 at one point, and I changed the order of them, I think 3 times in the space of last night, even.
I had a bit of a chat with myself the other day with regards to 2 of those games. Plus, I've got 2 games to talk about which wouldn't have been in my top games, but did impact my year.
Same. Yeah.
So
interesting stuff that not necessarily made the top, but yeah.
But they were there. So, looking forward to it. And nice to talk to you again, my friend. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, I hope you found some stuff that you want to go look at that we've told you to go do, because, we'd never do you down.
Yeah. We will come back with good stuff for next time for you, we promise. And also, never forget that there's a world out there that is entirely for you, but you share that world with many people, including, and let's not forget, farts. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, it's done. Thank you, everyone.